If you're looking for real old school laughs, you're in for a treat because we've got them right here. Flip City Magazine. Remember Mad Magazine? Then it went woke? Well, don't worry. Flip City has no chance of going woke. That's right. 4 times a year, you'll get an actual printed magazine full of jokes, stories, comics, and more, all about today's pop culture, entertainment, and woke politics. Flip City takes terrible entertainment trends we love to hate with hilarious parodies of Lord of the Rings, Stranger Things, The Walking Dead, Star Trek, Hunters, and more. Trust me when I say there is nothing else like Flip City on the market. So subscribe today. It will be delivered in print, or you can even get it digitally if you're one of those wacky Zoomers. Either way, follow our link and sign up today, and if you put in midnight, you get an extra 10% off. Check out Flip City Magazine today. I wake up in the morning just like the rest, but today I wish I could grow some breasts. So I visit my doctor and they them told me, hey, no problem, I can give you a pussy.
Television highlights of the news of yesteryear.
Good evening, everybody. It's Sunday night. It is time for the week. Oh, I forgot to remove that. So you could actually see our beautiful faces. Well, actually, our very white
Ashley,
faces.
don't call me Ashley.
Ashley, isn't that your name?
No, I thought it was my name. It is
I'm
now.
dead naming you?
Well, it's not Tom.
Well, I knew that. With me right now is Paul, and I'm sure others will be joining shortly. How you doing tonight, Paul?
I'm doing fun. I was just finished with Renegade with you, and now here I am with you again, and we have an interesting topic. One thing I didn't bring up with on the last stream I was on, I think here's my prediction for the next big movie of the year is The Great Escaper.
Oh, yes. I saw the trailer. We watched that Friday in anticipation of you being there.
Yeah, and I was stuck in traffic.
And you didn't make it.
What did you think of the trailer?
It looked interesting. I was trying to think.
I wept. I cried when he
I
held
think
hands
I remember
with the
hearing the
German
original
guy.
story. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it brought tears to my eye. It was very All Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah, it wasn't what I was necessarily expecting
No.
when I first heard about it, but yeah. So we'll probably be talking about that this week.
And you know what? It was funny to see that because I had mentioned in one of the recent episodes that we were talking about movies is that where's the British films? What happened to them? Like they suddenly disappeared. You always had a bunch of British films, whether it was, Three Weddings and a Funeral. And there was just the British film industry contributed to the movie. I mean, yeah, they were also part of Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood, knew what they were doing, and there were Hollywood British stars in there, and there was a connection, but there was this, what's the damn it, there's that superhero-y movie, the League of Gentlemen.
Oh, the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Yeah, so that's the British version of sort of extraordinary, extraordinary.
Like an Avengers of sorts.
Yeah, the Avengers and things like that. So the British always had that. And I think over the last few years, that kind of dried up. There was that horrible Banshees of Inisherin, which under normal conditions I would have included it in that pile, but definitely not like Waking Ned Divine. So there was just these fantastic movies from the UK.
Well, you even had wasn't the original Billy Elliot?
Yeah,
and stuff like that. Like, yeah, I mean,
yeah. The guy.
Honestly, I think a lot of that goes to
streaming.
What was that
one where they stripped naked on stage? Anyway, it was Calendar Girls.
Yeah. Well, we have 6 here. Are you going to join us 6?
Hello. 6.
Maybe.
Anyways, the Great Escaper reminds me of that era of British. Oh, she's run away. And it was nice to see Glenda Jackson, who was kind of unrecognizable, and Michael Caine. And it's one of the things that I'm coming to realize I really don't want to see my favorite actors get old.
Full Monty, the one you were thinking
Monty,
of?
thank you.
Yeah.
I really don't want to see it. Like I understand they haven't lost their acting capabilities. They do have to insert themselves into a new, they can't be running around like Harrison Ford tried to do in Indiana Jones, which is just embarrassing.
Yeah. Hey, Toxie, how you doing?
Hey,
I'm all right. We got Mrs. Flu settled in after her shoulder surgery. She's doing better.
Which is strange because I didn't know you guys had arms.
Well, she does. That's how she throws the meat. So it was her right arm, and her rotator cuff was torn in multiple places. Yeah, it was just throwing stuff at me. Was what it was.
So did her right arm get huge like that woman?
Yeah, it's pretty much just the one arm.
Secret Invasion. She suddenly became really strong.
Yeah, why did she get Drax's arm all of a sudden? That never made no sense to me.
It was always kind of weird. Secret Invasion. Thank God I haven't watched that crap.
Didn't they get both caught in the in that special device that transferred the superhero powers of all the Marvel superheroes, and they both got it?
Maybe.
Because I mean, she was pretending to be Nick Fury.
Oh, maybe. All I know is I watched Comics Division's soul slowly fade out of him as he was watching that series. And when he got to episode 3, he just stopped making review videos.
Yeah, I did that with Strange New Worlds. Like,
that
God.
Was it. Oh God! Did you see the musical one?
No.
Oh, they did a trailer.
I saw the trailer for it.
Yeah, the trailer went. Oh yeah,
it's coming up. It's not on yet. Hasn't been on yet.
Oh man,
like that is like jumping the shark on Star Trek, isn't it? Like doing a musical episode. I mean,
it's discontiguous stunting.
Ooh, sounds really exotic. Is that some kind of like executive speak or something?
Yes, it's what I say to my executives. You are discontinuously stunting.
It just somebody wanted to make a musical, I guess.
Right. I think they were influenced by Joss Whedon's Doctor Mr. Horribleness.
Oh, Mr. Horribles, which was great.
Yes,
I like that one. That was some really good performances.
Back when Joss was not being vilified.
Yeah. Back when
you're welcome.
They could tell him that you could do things bad. So.
Oh, what's his name? Still defends him. The Canadian actor.
Who was in Dr. Horribles was Nathan Fillion
and
Doogie Howser.
Yes. And Nathan Fillion still defends Joss Whedon.
Josh,
so I don't know what's going on.
I mean, I don't know any of them personally, right? So I'm not going to sit there and say that Josh Whedon is a complete ass, but people that I trust, these two people in this panel, whatever you guys say of him, which you've heard in the industry, or Script Doctor, or others that are in the industry, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, but the products have not been there. They just haven't.
The what hasn't been there?
The products for Marvel just haven't been there in the last little bit. I mean, I think they just lost the narrative. She-Hulk, which for me was hilarious because we did the She-Hulky Awards out of that, and I'm hoping for season 2. Baby.
You were a part of that, Paul. You didn't realize it, but I don't know what I'm doing.
And Paul was
just read it. Just whatever's on the script, just read it, and you'll do it.
The best part of it. Paul's sitting there clapping, and
you were
like,
you should have seen
professional.
You should have seen the chat light up when you came on, Paul. Like they were just like Paul. It was like
Paul. Oh yeah, and I was like, I just gave a script and the outtakes. Okay, I'm going to go through this, do this stuff, and everything from there, and rip through it all and ad lib it and put all this stuff in here and everything. And I was like, wow, that's what it's like to work with a professional.
Hello, Clobby.
Yes.
You're very kind.
Oh, you were hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. And I went back and looked up some of your stuff with the group after that. And I saw your latest video with maybe it's not your latest because you put it, but the one where you show the spinning plates.
Yes, that's the latest one.
It's just so funny.
You know what? I will always remember the time with the Frantics. Mm-hmm. It was a great 10 years, 15 years of my life. I will. I'm blessed to have been able to do it.
Are you kind of surprised that more people were aware of the Frantics than you thought possibly at first? Because I know it seems like every time somebody brings it up on a super chat or I bring it up or anybody. Exactly. Like, I mean, or does that not surprise you? Were you kind of used to that already?
Well, I mean, we were used to it in Canada, but we had our radio show had 500,000 people listening to us every single Saturday morning.
But I mean, clearly Dr. Demento had a hell of a reach here in the US to where, like, I mean, even me, I remember listening to Dr. Demento all the time.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Thank God for Dr. Demento.
Love that show.
What would we have done without Dr. Demento? I mean, seriously.
I mean, really, he was he was basically the Wolfman of comedy music.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if he played it, everybody knew it, right? Like it was just, it became part of the pantheon,
lexicon. Yeah.
Lexicon. That's probably a better word. Yeah.
I was on a, that 70s rock fan. I know you know him, Tom, and he's had some great guests. And this guy knows, he's got tickets I went to the Who and saw this and just everything. And he had a punk special, and I was on there with him talking about punk rock. And I was like, well, outlaw country to me is punk, because punk to me is going against the narrative.
Yeah.
So like Kids in the Hall to me was comedy punk.
Yeah.
Right. And so somebody on the stream asked me, would you consider Dr. Demento punk? And it kind of stumped me for a little bit.
No.
And I'm like,
no.
He made fun of things, but he wasn't like going against the narrative. I mean, he was, but he wasn't. But if you think punk is just people like the Spike Hairs, like the guy in Star Trek 4, wasn't he a
I
sound
see the
engineer?
question though. I get where it's coming from.
I see where they're coming from with that. And it's like, well, he had a good
Could
eye
be
for
like
talent.
a pop punk kind of thing. Is there a possibility? Can it be, even though it is a kind of an oxymoron? I mean, is there?
I don't know. I mean, because outlaw country, that is pretty much it. I think it's like an attitude. I think it's an individualist attitude, right?
Yeah.
Is, hey, I don't want any group of totalitarian people telling me what to do. It's a F off, kind of thing.
I mean,
Neil Young, same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the sad part, Neil Young is more in line with the
now.
I was just gonna say, like the funny thing is punk. What's more punk now is basically like I played the CMT song parody in the beginning of the show, but I mean the whole thing with Jason Aldean and his "Try That in a Small Town." That's kind of more punk now, compared like it's where punk was back in the 70s and 80s, is like what they were saying then. But
Tom McDonald is a good kind of
Tom
rapper,
McDonald's probably the closest to a modern punk artist.
I was watching it all runs together because Miss Flu had surgery this week.
But even he's kind of still more political still, because even punk, even as political as some of it was still more anti-established. I mean, at that time, like what it
was an anti-movement. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah.
So if you're talking about punk, I think real country punk came from Canada. Katie Lang broke a whole bunch of stuff, and they hated her in Nashville, and she sang like an angel. The Cowboy Junkies did stuff that they would never have the guts to do in Nashville. And
what about
Blue Rodeo? I
think. What am I thinking of?
Canada.
Life on the Southern Skids or whatever it is they're called. Trying to think of the name of the band.
I mean, because the traditional outlaw countries like Waylon Jennings and that group, right? They were not the in crowd in Nashville.
Correct. I'm not a fan of modern country.
No.
I'm not a fan of modern country, but I mean, I was on the radio at the tail end of the 90s going into the early aughts. So like that 90s period of country for me was almost like a re-renaissance, because country has like renaissances almost once every decade. It's weird. Going back to the 30s and 40s when it originated, you go back to the 50s also had again. 60s it had a bit of a moment in time.
Yep.
70s,
what killed it was the 6-person male singing groups that all sang the same goddamn note. There was no harmony.
Like the Oak Ridge Boys.
The Blue Mountain Oak Ridge singing Shacking Boys. Yeah.
Well, that's the kind of shit that really became huge in the 80s. Yeah.
I could.
We have both kinds of music, country,
Alabama, Oak Ridge Boys, all that kind of shit.
They all sound the same.
And then the 90s, though, is when you had like Garth Brooks came in, and you had kind of it was almost like a punk movement in country. I wouldn't necessarily consider Garth part of that, but you had your Travis Tritts, and you had your Dwight Yoakams, and these guys who were more rock and roll.
Yeah, Dwight Yoakam was, I think, a good example of that change that came through. He was a different
I preferred the Chris Christopherson.
And that was the 70s, right? Or late 60s into the 70s, before the Rhinestone era. Yeah.
It was kind of a renaissance. Yeah, that was a renaissance, I guess.
It was kind of a spin-off of the folk.
Arts and acting.
What that was more of a spin-off of like folk music mixed with country western in a way. Yeah. So like you had that period, and then the Rhinestone period is where like the 70s really blew up.
There's a bluegrass band, I guess you call them bluegrass, out of Canada called the Dead South. And they have
that's who I was thinking of.
Yeah, because they have a video that came out 6 years ago called "In Hell I'll Have Plenty of Company," I think it's called.
Well, we're also overlooking
the 400 million views.
We forgot about the trucker era too.
Or the trucker era, right? Yeah, the trucker.
Oh God, era. Right after the CB. Rhinestone era, going into the CB era. Yep.
Do any of you guys recall the Keaton and McGarrigles?
No.
Beautiful. Like, if you want your head exploded, look up the music of the McGarrigles.
Okay.
McGarrigles. You will never have heard anything like this in your life. I mean, they were feted many times by the American music industry and
Well, we
turned them
got
down. Okay.
You got way off where I was headed because I was going to jump from the
sorry.
comedy bit. No, it's fine because we were talking about
We
funny
can do
things
anything the
earlier.
fuck we want tonight, right?
Exactly. That's the beauty of the weekly wrap up. But we brought this up and this got you excited, Paul. So this is one I definitely want to touch on. The top 30 comedies of all time ranked according to Collider. So I can only imagine how this list turns out.
Oh,
I have
boy.
not looked at this list.
I've looked at the list. Ooh.
You did?
have
Okay,
not.
so I have no
And
idea what's on here now,
I
necessarily
would
other than
say the list is actually pretty damn good.
Okay.
all I know is this movie better be on there.
The order we might be able to be fussy about, but you know what? The fact that they got such really good iconic movies on there, I went, okay, I'm okay.
Mhm.
I'm not going to explode.
Well, what's
Cool.
funny is we got another list if we have time, but I doubt it.
So
But
let's
that list is going to be hilarious. But yeah,
let's go through this.
Yeah, let's start here. Because we got one super chat before we get started here.
Okay. Hey,
Miguel Farah,
Miguel.
who sends in that's I believe Chilean pesos, if I'm not mistaken, 2,500. Says Cuatro Locos en El Sat was the name of the Frantics show in Spanish-speaking
Yep.
America. It was the delight of nerds like myself and my college mates. Awesome.
They
You guys had that much reach. Wow.
They translated the show in I think in Argentina or
Really?
Venezuela into Cuatros Locos en
Who
El
played
Set.
you?
Pardon me, what?
Who played you?
I have no idea, but it is way funnier than us. Like the
can
guys
imagine.
they picked were way better than we were. The shows are much funnier.
It's kind of funny because I've had this too, where I've had like somebody sing one of my songs I wrote sometime, and I wonder if this is the same kind of thing. Is where you're almost like, damn, sounds better when they do it.
But
You
it's
know what
so
I mean?
funny when they,
It's
it's
just
a
weird.
Spanish, Mr. Canoehead. Spanish, Mr. Canoehead. Always funny. No, it was great. I had a great time with the Frantics. I'm blessed that we were able to, get it as far as we got it, and people still vaguely remember, and it's, you want to have a legacy, but on the other hand, you die, your legacy disappears. Jack Benny, who remembers it? So, I mean, all you're
Right.
doing is pushing up this rock up the hill
Sid Caesar
longer. And you know what the thing
shows.
is that you realize is that it's better that you have an end because you can't really go back, and you shouldn't go back because you're never going to be able to duplicate the success that you had, because comedy really is something that happens in its moment. So
That's
and
true.
I have my own gig now. This is like I'm having a great time doing this. I don't need
At
to
the same time, I have enjoyed like the Monty Python reunions and such.
Yeah.
So I can't say it's.
Well,
I
it's good
wouldn't
to go
say that
back,
I wouldn't, and I did love Cheech and Chong's. Like I went and seen Cheech and Chong live in their reunion, and even though it was basically just seeing them do their greatest hits, it was still great. So I'm not saying that you guys couldn't have like a success of just doing like a reunion tour of sorts.
Mhm.
But
I think you could.
being comedians and being in the business and seeing our heroes like Cheech and Chong and Wego, they don't have it anymore. Notwithstanding the fact that the audience loves it and gives them tons of energy, I just don't see it. I'm embarrassed watching them.
All right, fair enough.
Did you see the
But I would like to see you guys.
Yeah.
It'd be-
Oh yeah.
yeah, I would like to, because did you see the Kids in the Hall
Oh, another good example.
reboot?
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
they
I
did?
saw the new series, and I thought they had the same problem we might have had, is that they were of their time. What did
Right.
you think of it?
I missed the Kids in the Hall so much that I enjoyed it, but if it wasn't for the fact I knew all the material previously, I would have been lost in most of it.
See,
And
that's the thing with Cheech and Chong. They did a couple of new things, but they were smart in how they did it, I feel. And that's the thing,
Right.
like, and again, I'm not, if you guys were to do something like that, I think that's the best way to go about it. Because that's the mistake that bands make when they get back together after so long is, and I brought this example up when we talked about movies before recently with like The Flash and whatnot. Like, instead of, them just realizing, okay, the Eagles are a great example of what you should do as a band or a reunion or anything like that. You do a couple of new songs, but then you just make sure you cover your best, greatest hits throughout, because that's what people are coming to see.
Yeah.
Right. So if you guys were to do that, even if I know you don't sound like you ever would, but if you were, that's just basically, I think the best way to approach it is, fill your setup with your greatest hits, and then add in sprinkle in 2 or 3 newer bits for the fans will know.
Yeah,
and that's what it's for, really. At the end of the day,
we did a reunion show. I can't remember when it was, but we did record it, and we really liked doing new stuff, and comedy is a little bit different from music,
right?
And so it was easily 30% new stuff, and then the rest of it was
right.
Our Star Trek sketch, which I don't think you guys might not have seen, but that was
I'm not sure I have.
Monster hit for us.
Yeah,
that's why I'd love you to send me what you got for audio stuff, because like I said, I only got 3 skits, so I'd love to play more. But Pilgrim Media asks, does anyone miss the Cowsills? I don't know if I really missed them. The only song I remember they did was that Flower Girl song.
Well, they could sing.
Yeah, I mean, they're fine. I don't know about missing them.
Sweet city woman. Who did
they did that one too? Okay.
No, they didn't. The Cowsills didn't do it. That was the Stampeders.
I was gonna say, yeah.
Was that the Stampeders did the original?
Yep.
I don't know, but
yep.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a Cowsills.
Sweet City Woman was a Stampeders.
My father, he was a huge music fan. The Ventures and loved the Beach Music and Herb Alpert, and just he's got them all. And he's got, I think there's 400 to 545 that he has that I'm gonna have to go through at some point. He took me aside one day. And he said, son, I know that you're doing this stuff. Something's going on. There's 2 girls up at school, blah, blah, blah. And he just sat me in the car, put in a tape, and walked away. And it was Lovin' Spoonfuls. You're going to have to make up your mind. Pick up on one and leave the other behind. It's not often easy, not often kind, but did you ever have to make up your mind? Right? And I was like, oh. And then
thanks,
I just love it. Thanks, Dad. And Lovin' Spoonful, I just started listening to them all and say, okay, those, from there. But yeah, music. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my dad did that to me, but it was with Inagata Vita.
He's like, just stay here, son. I'll be back.
Stay here, son. It's
right. I'm gonna get some cigarettes.
You're gonna be in the car for a half a fucking hour, right? But it's gonna change
blow your mind.
I love it.
No.
Pilgrim Media says, son. No one can ever play an effective chicken lady.
That's true.
That's true.
No, the Kids in the Hall were absolutely fantastic. I wish I enjoyed their most recent special. I hope it gets renewed, but you just can't go back there.
You can't. Now, their documentary was good, talking about how they had worked, what they did, the making of and doing all of that. Have you guys thought about doing a documentary?
I've actually
that'd be a good idea.
Shooting a documentary on the Frantics. I've started shooting.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
Cool. Kenneth Dowling says, hello, guys. Glad I caught you all on the stream. I just started writing my comic book tonight after months of thinking and planning. It's great to get in physical.
Good luck, man.
Good.
Excellent.
Speaking of comic books, I want to remind everybody, Clobbering Times is here, even though he hasn't said much. So.
I'm just waiting, man. We'll interrupt this incredible conversation. Great to see you all.
Come in anytime.
I'm backing you up here. I got your backs, buddies. Oh.
That's right. Miguel Farah says, as a contrast to the reunion hit show concept, Les Luthier's current farewell tour is 100% newly written, and they're that dedicated. Sometimes you can get away with it, but sometimes you get the other side of that point is when these bands do this shit, it just sounds like them trying to recapture their classic sound, and it doesn't work.
Sure.
Yeah. But let's get into this.
Let's do this
here. So Clobby can get involved.
Comedies of all time.
Yeah.
Right.
Man, we'll see about that.
Oh, and just in time. Look
Up
who's
Periscope
here.
better be on this list.
Down Periscope, you mean? Yeah.
Got you down Periscope, up Periscope.
Yeah.
Oh, Culture's here. I can leave. All right.
Yeah.
Culture.
Now, Luke Hasenbrock is the one who wrote this, so if anybody wants to look it up.
I don't know who Lou Hasenbrock is.
I don't either.
Okay.
Number 30 is The Producers from 1967. Washed up Broadway producers.
I have a problem with it being
so low.
Pretty low.
I mean, Gene Wilder and Zero Mostel. Come on.
It's a masterpiece, man. Come on.
Yeah, this is a classic. This belongs in the top. That's the problem. Is this going to be one of those lists where we're like, oh, this belongs in the top 10 for everything?
This one, I think, is the one that is most abused of all of
them.
Placement's always a problem. I mean, where are you going to put
Yeah.
something? But this one should be. You think would be higher. I mean,
Zero
of course.
Mostel is so underrated.
Well, not only that, this is young, pure Gene Wilder.
Yeah. Good Lord, this movie.
And it's an original idea. It's comedy in a way that's difficult to do.
I'd say it's aged like a fine wine on top of it all.
Well,
especially when we bring it up all the time on the shows, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it was 1967. He was skirting that timeline, for the subject matter of what they were doing the show about.
Right.
Right. That too soon kind of moment, and it only Mel Brooks could have done this.
There are people who hear the "Springtime for Hitler" song now for the first time and are utterly shocked.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's springtime
for
Hitler
and Germany.
I mean, come on.
And we have another person joining us here. We have Andy Masterson. How are you
Hello,
doing?
Andy.
Hi,
How
guys.
are you doing?
Hey, bud.
How is
Have you
everyone?
been tugging on your figurines lately?
Well,
boy.
I've been working.
What do we got here? Hang on.
Target.
Oh,
Lord.
Target.
Ah,
oh no, that's not
it's
Mulvaney. Is it?
uncanny.
Oh,
He
my
showed
God.
me an early version. Holy shit, that looks too
Is
scary.
That
that
is-
the Bud Light can?
Ouch.
Oh,
Yeah.
Jeez.
That is
Oh
very.
my
That is
dude.
uncanny.
That
Isn't the
is
target
scary.
on his buttocks?
I have
Andy.
to. I have to get a thinner body, a little more
Nathan.
David, more David Hogg body.
Mhm.
Because this is just a little too buff.
Too manly.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
too manly.
Oh my God, that's
Holy
scary.
smokes!
Oh, Lord.
I call Dylan Mulvaney a stick bug.
Yeah.
Okay. I can see that.
Oh. Dearest sent us a super sticker. Thank you for that, Dearest.
Thank you.
And Miguel Ferris says, let's
Another.
take bets on how many entries on this list will be non-US, non-UK comedies.
Like
Oh,
That's a good
that's actually a good.
so that's a good point because Cantinflas, if I'm pronouncing it,
say French. Some yeah, go ahead.
Cantinflas should be on this list. He's not. The La Cage aux Folles, the French version,
Yeah, I was gonna say some French comedies.
probably should be on here. My New Partner, a hilarious French movie, and also Three Men and a Baby, the French version. The French
Yes.
version is just a scream.
Aren't all the Jerry Lewis films after a certain point French?
Yes.
kind of.
Okay. So,
All right,
anyways,
well,
it's a good point, Miguel, and none of those are on here.
Yeah, let's keep
go on.
moving. Yeah. Buzz out of 2007. Okay. All right.
I love
I
it.
wouldn't-
love this film.
I would
I can
not
see
put
that.
Hot Fuzz above the producers.
Not
Yeah.
above, but I can see it.
Yeah.
This is probably more. This is kind of
Hilarious-
more placed
hilarious movie.
Very
where
funny.
it should be. Yeah.
It's a very funny movie.
Makes fun of a lot of the 80s, 90s comedy
Yeah.
or action movies as a comedy. It's really good.
It is a thoroughly entertaining movie.
Absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
We got Puppy Cam just for the moment.
Hey, there's the
Puppy.
dog. Puppy.
Jack had to make his appearance.
Puppy. He's a star. He knows it.
I like the
Look at me,
collar.
Dad. Look at me.
Yeah,
I'm
my
showing
daughter
it
picked
off.
that out. It's got
Oh, that's
bananas on it.
He's like, give me those. Okay.
We
Our
just got some new
dog's
houses
great.
for the cats. So
They are the
they've been-
most. Dogs are the best people ever, Paul.
They're great. There's a
Yes.
video going around. I think it might have happened in Indonesia where 3 tigers were separated from their mother. The mother disappeared, and
wow.
the local golden retriever in the zoo, a female dog, took him on and became its mother.
Did not know this one.
And they glommed. Obviously, they connected. And during a storm, where the golden retriever ended up in the actual tiger pen several years
Wow.
ago, and the 6 big tigers were now going around ready to devour the golden retriever. The 3 cats that she raised went in between her and the big cats and defended her.
Wow.
Like I'm crying right now.
Oh, you should send that to Nina. She loves those kind of stories for Fridays.
Wow, it was pretty cool. Anyway,
I gotta get to see super chats because Kenneth looks like he's leaving here. Dearest sends in $2 and says, "Reweave the Kraken." Let's get into the list. Yes,
Life
we're
of
working on
Brian. Yeah, it should be up there.
we're gonna get
Yeah.
into this here. But Kenneth Dallin says the comic is about black superhero, but I do not practice that nonsense Disney does by telling older white men this is not for them. When my book is ready, everyone, especially you gentlemen, would love for you to read it. All right. Well,
Yeah.
keep us posted.
Yeah.
And then he says, have a good night and a great week, guys.
Thank you,
Well, thanks for listening,
yes.
Kenneth.
You too.
Good luck.
Thanks for being here. Yeah.
And then your Muslim uncle says, thanks, Mr. Chatto, for many laughs from boot to the head.
Oh, I
To the head.
very much appreciate it.
One of my
That'll be
favorites.
interesting
I love
because
that.
like we've got those people out there like actual fandom that can't wait for that BBC, the big black comic. So,
What do you got there? We got the Frantics. Yes.
Boot to the head.
Look at that.
Oh,
That's a
man.
classic.
That's greatness.
Oh, wow.
I designed that cover.
That's awesome. And then Monty Python's Life of Brian comes in at number 20.
It's
Yeah,
I
great
will
one.
say this is my favorite Monty Python movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Me too.
I just say so too.
I think it's better than the other one. The
Meaning
So-
of life.
I got one
Meaning-
question for the
Or
no,
panel.
not
the
meaning
Holy
like
Grail?
the
And
Holy Grail.
Holy
This
Grail's
should
good.
not have should
Agreed.
not have been below Holy Grail.
No.
Which
Which is good, but
Judean People's Front
Oh,
or People's,
People's
Front,
Front
of Judea?
Judea.
All right.
Splinterers.
I do have a great Monty Python the Holy Grail story though. My daughter, when she was in 6th grade, had to make a castle, a medieval castle for history, and she said, "Daddy, can we put the Trojan rabbit in there too?" So I had to build a little wooden rabbit to go inside of it.
Nice.
And
Now we
Once-
get into the rabbit.
once the teacher saw that, he was like, "All right, you get an extra 10 points just for this."
Nice. we visited Dune Castle. I was there.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty
Oh, wow,
neat.
that's
We
nice.
went all around it, saw all the different places where they did the shot. It was
Did
I
anyone
can't believe
taunt
somebody's
you?
done this.
and at the gift shop at the front, you can rent coconuts, half coconuts. So if you want to run up the laneway and do the
Coconuts.
you can rent coconuts and shoot it.
Oh, that's so awesome.
And of course, here's got to be one of the greatest scenes
Oh, yeah.
in Life of
Bright
Brian.
hours must reflect such a divergence of interest within its power base.
Agreed. Francis? Yeah, I think Judith's point of view is very valid, Ray. Provided the movement never forgets that it is the unalienable right of every man or woman to rid himself or herself. Agreed. Thank you, brother. Or sister. Where was I?
Where was I?
I think you finished. Oh, right. Furthermore, it is the birthright of every man or woman. Shut up about women, Stan. You're putting us off. Women have a perfect right to play a part in our movement, Reg. Why are you always on about women,
I want to
Stan?
be one.
I want to be one. What?
Eric Idle. Oh, what a G.
I want to be a woman. From now on, I want you all to call me Loretta.
Loretta.
What? It's my right as a man.
Well, why do you want to
It's
be
a man.
Loretta, Stan?
I want to
I
have
want
a
to have
baby.
babies. You want to have babies? It's every man's right to have babies if he wants to.
I can't have babies.
You can't have babies.
Don't you impress me.
Stan. I'm not a woman.
That's me. I love that.
You're just going to gestate. You're going to keep it in a box.
And then he starts crying. Oh,
Here, I've got an idea. Suppose you agree that he can't actually have babies, not having a womb, which is nobody's fault, not even the Romans, but that he can have the right to have babies.
This is the best
That's a
part.
good idea, Judith. We shall fight the oppressors for your right to have babies, brother. Sister, sorry. What's the point? What's the point of fighting for his right to have babies when he can't have babies? It is symbolic of our struggle against oppression.
Oh God. Most
Symbolic
press-
of his struggle against reality.
Most prescient movie scene in history.
Oh, that is a great.
Oh my
scene.
God.
Isn't that 73 or something like that?
79. 79.
79
The
already?
film,
Wow.
the film, by the way, was banned in my hometown. By
yeah,
the
it was
district
banned in
Really?
many places. Yeah.
by the district attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Rich
would you
Audie?
please
Well, it wasn't
thank
South.
everyone who banned the film.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
thank you.
yeah.
Well,
Please
yeah, but
didn't listen.
Which one
Well-
was it that they did that was made with George Harrison's money?
This
Was it
one.
This
Yeah.
one.
That's
This one.
the
This
one,
one.
right?
Yeah, he mortgaged his
Yep.
house. for
Handmade
this.
films or whatever.
It
Yeah.
made a ton of money. Now, actually,
made
to me, the
ton.
funniest scene is the Latin declination that he writes incorrectly on the Roman walls, and the Roman centurion comes up
Come in and
and,
say, "Oh yeah."
and properly declines the female and male gender of the and makes them write it out
over.
on all the walls. I was howling with laughter. This is so funny, this movie. Okay,
this is a great film. Yes, keep moving now. We gotta.
That's a great
I've
film.
got
The Big Lebowski.
Here we go.
I
That's just
wouldn't
like your
consider
opinion,
this
man.
a full-out comedy.
I do.
Okay.
Is this
I mean,
a
I
dramedy
get it.
then?
Well, it
It's
is
Coen
one
Brothers.
of the most. Yeah, like
Coen Brothers. Yeah.
it's a Coen Brothers comedy, right? Like, because they have two different kind of films. You have the serious Coen Brothers, and you have the Coen Brothers comedy.
Right.
And as far as the Coen Brothers comedy goes, like, well, it may just be your opinion, man, but I think this should be even higher. But
I'm pissed because it's so low. This
I was
is
gonna say,
dumb.
wait, culture come in here anytime now because this is a fucking spirit animal.
And this is not okay, man. This is not okay.
Yeah, don't mess with the Jesus or the culture.
Well, I think
Really
the
brought
average
the rug.
age of the
The
people that
rug
came up
really
with this
brought the
list
room
is
together,
12.
dude.
It did, man. That rug.
But this is it's so hard to classify, like, where is this in the comedy realm? This is not Blazing Saddles. This is not the producers. Yes, it's very funny in places.
I think it's more about the world that it creates.
Yes, I
Paul.
totally get it. Yeah.
Well, okay, but the question is, Paul, is Beverly Hills Cop a comedy?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a comedy.
I see where culture's coming from in that respect,
Yeah.
especially considering the dude's whole life philosophy. Sadie, the dude's whole life philosophy. You've got, basically John Goodman playing John Milius, literally.
Okay. I mean,
Even in
listen,
death, Donnie is hilarious because he blows back in their
Yeah.
face.
Yes.
This is
Yeah. That
That's
moment
probably
is
the
so
saddest
great.
part of the movie, though, is like when Donnie dies, you're just like, oh no,
Right.
no, not Donnie.
this
But
is
then
a
Yet one of the
great
greatest
movie.
comedic moments comes out of that. And,
Yeah, the ashes. Oh my gosh! Every time my dad and I we just
what the
howl.
fuck does that even mean, man?
We just howl.
Okay, keep going.
Okay, yes, The Big Lebowski. Thank you so much. Modern Times. Okay, we got a Charlie
Okay,
Chaplin.
this is so good.
Yeah,
I've
it's still
never
good.
seen this whole movie. I've seen clips from it, but I've never
Did you
seen
go
the
to
whole
film
movie.
school?
It's been a
I'm
while,
not
but
film
it's a
school.
great
I went to
movie.
production school. Go ahead, Clobby.
No, because it's a great movie. I could see it being on the list. It's wonderful.
I'm not certain that Modern Times, though, is funnier than the Gold Rush.
Or the Tramp.
Well, what should be on here, right? Or remember?
Anyway,
Hopefully the Gold Rush is on there.
yeah, Gold Rush I think is funnier than Modern Times, but it's
Agreed.
a longer movie.
Let's see if Duck Soup's on this list.
It better be. It better
we'll see.
be.
Yeah.
Yep. Although there are funnier Marx Brothers movies, Night at the Opera I think is funnier.
Oh, I can't agree. Can't go along with that one, buddy, but it's close. Horse Feathers is funnier than Night at the Opera. Oh, sorry, controversial. Keep going.
Somebody kicked
This
that
one
man
was
off
so
street.
good though.
It is good.
I am not
This
a
is
fan
fantastic.
of the Three Stooges, so
You-
just letting everyone know.
I take that back, by the way. Sorry.
You have to, like I said, this is one of the ones you have to watch in film school. It's like if you're going to teach proper film, you have to Keaton films, Chaplin films, Wells films. I mean, you have to be Hitchcock. You have to be bombed with all these.
I should go through like a Chaplin deep dive. Yeah.
It's just it's so good.
I have
Here we
Chaplin's
go.
selection here.
So
this is great. This is
This
one
is
of
the comedy that we just talked about with Paul not too
Yep.
long ago.
Yeah.
okay.
And
Another
I'll
masterpiece.
tell you,
Wow.
this is a movie that
Brilliant.
if comedies, they never really get Oscars unless, I mean, Woody Allen comedies used to, but that was it. This is a comedy where John Candy got completely robbed of an Oscar. His best
Yes.
performance probably of his entire life in this movie.
especially that monologue about you think I'm a fool. That's one of the best things I've heard in a comedy. That's a fantastic.
Yeah, I like me. My wife likes me.
And he wasn't even nominated, of course.
No,
Right.
No, not
comedy's
even close.
mostly.
No.
No,
No,
this
he was-
this
no.
deserves to be on the list.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. One of the best road
Beautiful movie.
comedies of all time.
Yep.
Definitely in the vein of like a Odd Couple, but yet, I mean, Steve Martin and John Candy were gold here.
Oh.
I mean,
Brilliant.
I'm gonna have to say I can't stand this movie.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know. I don't know what it was. 1987. It was the year I graduated high school, and I don't know what it is. I
You should watch it
saw
again.
Didn't like it, and maybe because when I saw Spinal Tap, I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. I go back 20 years later and watch it. I'm like, oh, okay, it's lost its luster. So maybe I changed.
I don't see that.
Maybe
To me, it still holds up.
Maybe it'll flip around then. You never know.
In
Maybe
fact,
we'll
I
go to
even
11.
I love visiting the deleted scenes because it's almost like a whole nother movie.
I think you'll find a whole nother layer on this movie.
You know what? I'm going to go ahead and watch it.
Yeah, I think you should,
you know
because this
what?
is not only that, it's probably one of John Hughes' best too.
And you know what? I'm not asking you to like it. If you don't, then that it'd be
Right,
interesting
right.
to hear what
Yeah.
your perspective is.
Fair
Well, see,
enough,
I saw it in theaters. Last time I saw
wow.
this movie was in theaters in 1987.
Oh wow!
So it has been a long time. So yeah, I'll invest some time and I'll watch that and see if my opinion changed.
I don't think
It is an
I
old
don't-
opinion. That's 30 plus years ago.
Yeah, you
I
never know.
want a fucking car with 4 fucking wheels and 4 fucking doors.
I mean, because those are two people I consider to be extremely funny. And John Candy on SCTV, and
You got
all this
your
stuff came from
receipt?
there, and yeah, they're just hilarious.
No, I threw it away. Well, then you're.
Why is this on here?
Oh, here's an oddball. Yeah.
I don't think this deserves to be on here at all.
I don't either.
No, it's
got
not
some
aged
moments,
as
but
well.
not on this.
No, it is not aged very well.
The first two acts were pretty good, and the third act is so bad
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
does not deserve to be on here.
It's
The
good for
fight
memes. That's
between
about it.
all of the different.
That was the second one, though, wasn't it?
Newscast. Was that the second one where they came out and I killed a guy with a trident? I thought that was the
I
first
thought that was that. That's the problem. Is I get the two of them so
If
mixed.
this is the
together,
only
yeah.
Farrell film on here, then they've completely screwed up because the racing film,
Ricky
Uh,
Bobby.
Ricky
Yeah.
Bobby
one.
is
Ricky
like
Bobby.
absolutely
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights.
Talladega
Yeah,
Nights
Talladega Nights, The Legend of Ricky Bobby, or whatever it's called.
is
Yeah.
absolute genius.
There's a
and
panther
so
in the
is-
car.
and so's the skating movie.
Oh, Blades of
Blades of
Blades of
Glory.
Glory.
Yeah.
That one is messed up.
Did you
Yeah.
guys see him in Fire Saga?
Yes.
No, the Trident
And
is the
that was-
first one. I
yeah.
was wrong.
I like that one. I thought he
Old
did
school's
the
better. I
first one.
agree. Old
Yeah,
school is
old school's
so.
much- but he's
old
not the star in
school-
that one.
No, but that was kind of like the Animal House of
I
that
never
generation.
saw Old School.
Really, it's a good
No.
film. Good film. I think you might like that one.
Yeah.
What are you doing? We're
Um,
streaking.
Yeah, we're streaking through the gymnasium. Well, here you
Yeah.
go. Speaking of Spinal Tap,
Hey, this is one of the greatest.
This one
films of
should
all
go
time
to
me,
11.
But
Absolutely a
lost it.
terrific film.
Can't argue with that one.
what's
Watch
funny
it.
is that is not a shot from the movie. That is from the second album. That's from Break Like the Wind.
Break like the wind.
See,
yeah.
now I'm worried.
I have
now
both
I'm
of
worried.
those.
Now I'm
Talk
worried
about
that
mud
they're gonna put Balls of Fury in this list.
No, well, hopefully
flaps.
not.
Well,
The best thing about Spinal Tap is that it has Fran Drescher in it.
Oh, I don't know
Yeah.
about that.
oh, when they come out, one of the memes I did for Comics Division.
There you go.
There it is.
This is the complete inner working of my skeleton.
He was so good smacking on that gum.
It's not green, right? Yes, it is. It's
Yeah.
great.
Great.
It's kind of like how your blood, the veins, it's blue.
When they
Yeah,
do
but
the
your blood's not
Stonehenge
blue.
thing with that mini little Stonehenge. Oh my god!
I think I would like to run a haberdashery.
It's so funny.
When he goes through airport security and has to pull out the cucumber, I've died in theaters when I saw this. It's killing me.
It's a great cheap joke.
Maybe it'd sound better if it was done in
You know what?
dubbing.
I like cheap jokes, and maybe that's what it is. I'm a cheap.
I love this
Joke
fucking
kinda
movie.
guy.
I don't care. This is a classic.
Now, I bet what isn't on the list is the progenitor of this adventure,
The
which was
Ruddles.
Ruddles.
Ruddles
Really?
is great.
That's
No, it
one of
won't
the
be on this
greatest
list, but
things
it's
ever.
better.
Going to that super chat earlier. Yeah.
Ruddles is absolute
Yeah.
genius.
Oh,
This
what
is great.
Ooh.
Dale and Miss.
Speaking of genius, this has got to be one of Harold Ramis's genius
Yep.
moments here.
I
Groundhog
love this
Day.
movie.
Yeah.
Don't drive
Everything about
angry.
this film.
Don't drive
Don't
angry.
drive angry. Did you know that damn thing bit him when they were doing this thing?
I can believe it.
Yeah. He got bit like a few times.
There's so many funny scenes in this.
This is so well done, and it's a great story. I mean, it's a really good art.
It's kind of like a Christmas Carol story, but yeah.
Well,
Well,
outside
it's
of it being a comedy, you kind of lose that, right?
Yeah.
This is a great film in and amongst itself. It just happens to be funny in almost every scene. Until
big
you
debate
get
is
some of those moments.
Yeah.
The big debate is it a sci-fi comedy?
I'll take it.
It doesn't
Because of
matter.
the time travel element.
No,
Well, it's
yeah.
just always the big debate people have.
What's your favorite time travel movie culture?
That's what's your favorite time travel movie culture?
Not doing this again.
Okay.
The H.G. Wells one.
H.G. Wells was good. Yeah.
But no,
Time
Groundhog
travel.
Day is amazing. Anybody got anything to say about this one? Clobby or
It was good.
culture?
I love this movie. This is one that I will put on repeat and fall asleep to. If I'm sick, I'll put this movie in and I'll watch it 1,000 times.
And when he wakes up the next day, the movie's still on.
That's true. It's like the same day.
It's Groundhog Day. No, I love this.
This is the movie that the Tom Cruise movie was inspired by.
Oh, The Day After Tomorrow.
Day
or
After
whatever.
Tomorrow.
Oh man, that movie,
that movie.
that was one of those movies they changed the name of, right? And like there's not a lot of those. That's just one of them. Because it was Live, Die, Repeat, but before that, wasn't it called it was something else, like something
I Need
Tomorrow.
a Shiro, I think is
It
what
was,
it's called.
it's based on a Korean story.
Really?
Yeah.
Hang on a minute.
We have this internet thing that we could use to research.
Yeah, but I try to use my memory once in a while. It keeps me from getting old.
Yeah, I know. What
Well, while you're doing that, let's look on to the next
next
one.
one. Next is
Clueless. Okay. No, I agree. Like this one, I'll give some credit. It's not, I don't know about this high. It should have maybe been a little lower, but
it shouldn't be this high, but this was a funny film, and
You can't put Life of Brian below this.
no,
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
No.
That's the problem.
This is way too high. This might have been 30.
Exactly. Like I agree. It belongs
Blast
here,
from the
but not this
Past, I
high.
thought was a lot better
Well,
than this.
you know
movie.
what? Oh God! Oh please no. So if we need to get farther down in this list because I'm going to start taking issue. I'm already starting to take issue with some of
I
those
love
lists.
this.
So.
Don't get
Paul's the
culture
only one
wind
I
up,
think
folks.
who actually looked at it.
I looked at it.
Yeah,
No, I will say that even. Oh, go ahead, Clobby.
I was consider probably going to be some glaring omissions. Get used to it.
Oh yes, I'm sure. Is Ghostbusters even on here? Like I said,
Oh,
this
boy.
movie better be on here. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Ghostbusters 2016. I hope.
You see Tom.
Hey, we're all
Caddyshack.
gonna get laid.
Caddyshack. Caddyshack 2 was better.
Now
No,
that's
just
a
kidding.
sports
What?
movie. They won't be on there.
Okay,
Just
then-
kidding. Just kidding.
Back to School is still
Yeah.
The Triple Lindy.
amazing.
Oh, that's a great
Yes.
film, but it's not Caddyshack.
But it's better than Clueless.
It's way
You
better.
should go to my
there's-
tall and
There
fat
are
stores.
people who
no
will argue that
offense.
Caddyshack is the Citizen Kane of comedies, and I'm not even kidding.
But
I would say
I'm
that.
not gonna. I won't take offense to that. I think you could probably reason that argument
Like
out. pretty well.
even like people who were behind it and stuff. Like Harold Ramis had this great thing where he was talking about how Doug Kinney. Here's the guy who's undersung as far as comedy goes. Doug Kinney wrote that, was a part of the big part of writing that film. And he's like, that was one of the most amazing scripts they had ever written in their lives because of what it was and how it worked. And then what all those guys brought to the table with that movie, right? Like it was just lightning in a bottle.
Yeah, that's all the National Lampoon
Exactly.
magazine people.
No.
And
No,
mixed
no,
with
no.
Saturday Night Live, folks, like you
Animal
had like a
House.
perfect storm, just like Animal House.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I used to read Doug Kenny back in the.
I mean, we could do a
National
poll
you'll
to
see,
see
you
if
don't want
Clueless even belongs in this list.
It's funny that these two are right next to each other because the funny thing
Yeah.
was, is I went into Clueless thinking it was going to be like a Dumb and Dumber movie the way they advertised it, not realizing what it really was. Then Dumb and Dumber, on the other hand, and I know Paul's not a big Jim Carrey fan, but
Oh no,
this is one of the movies that I saw in the theater more times than any other movie in history.
Wow.
Mhm. Really?
Nice accent. What is
this,
that?
this movie is brilliant.
You think it's brilliant? Okay.
Oh God, this is like,
I can't stand it.
oh my God, it should be in top 10.
I usually
somewhere
hate
in the-
Jim Carrey, but I like
Yeah.
him.
So-
I like the movie,
Yeah,
but
Jim
I don't
So
know,
Carrey's
you're
but
not
telling me
fine.
there's a chance.
I like it. It's funny, but it's I
Jim
don't know.
Carrey was funny on In Living Color, then he stopped.
Oh yes.
Hey, well, there are a couple roles he's really good at, but I still don't think this is one of his best. But that's.
Are you kidding me? This movie with Jeff Daniels, though, I mean,
So let me tell you. Okay, so as a writer, what I
Mm-hmm.
like about this is the universe they created was really clear. And these
Yeah.
two losers just could not see past their worldview. And they traveled in this weird bubble, assuming that somehow people would understand them and they understood people. And that to me was the brilliance of this movie. And it's a true buddy movie, and they never give up on each other. There's just so much comedy where they cheat to get a laugh and they don't hear. So my appreciation for this is maybe a little bit different from everybody's here. And I totally get it if you don't.
I'm amazed. That's why I'm laughing. But I'm happy with that you're thinking this way, because you're giving it credit. Yeah.
It's so well constructed in terms of the honesty and the fact they never break character to make a cheap laugh.
And Jim Carrey doesn't mug like he does in other movies. This is the one time where you're 100% correct. And I'm so glad to hear you say this, Paul, because this is one of the few times where, until Jim got into more serious acting, that he's really feeding and giving Jeff a lot of stuff. And Jeff is feeding right back. The great example of that is fully improvised scene in the movie when they kill the hitman.
Oh, fuck.
And they're eating the peppers. Jeff grabs the ketchup and mustard, shoots it into his mouth. Okay.
Yeah.
Hands it to Jim. Jim sees that, slams it down on the table. That whole thing was improvised. It's like, that's what he was. And Jeff talked about that scene. He's like, that's what we were give and take through the whole thing. I would do something, give it to Jim. Jim would take it, elevate it even higher. And then I would react to that. Like, and that's how it would just keep feeding into itself, like this circular thing. And like you said, they were this perfect pair, knowing exactly how the other was going. And it is. It's like a Beavis and Butthead thing, or a Bill and Ted thing, but like at the same time, it works.
The only downside for me was just how utterly embarrassing the moments were, and I couldn't handle many of them.
Yeah.
You know, what you're talking about is probably how I. Go ahead.
I think what it was
I
for
feel
me
like
is
during movies like Anger Management and Monster in Law, I don't care for, but like, go ahead.
I think for me, you know what else came out in 1994? The Mask. You know what else came out in 1994? Ace Ventura.
Well, that's the year of Jim Carrey. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was too much Jim Carrey. Mask I thought was good and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And then Ace Ventura, I was sick of him. And then, I couldn't stand this.
Wow. Okay. So wait. Then you got to Liar, Liar. And I felt like that's where you saw some chops out of Carrey.
Oh, yeah.
I agree. Liar is a different kind of movie, though.
Yeah, no,
in
indeed.
Kick-Ass 2, I had no idea that was him.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had no idea it was him, because Kick-Ass is one of my favorite films of all time. And Kick-Ass 2, I had no idea it was him. I couldn't tell.
See, and what's funny is 2 years after this, and hopefully this film is on the list, but you get the gross comedy Kingpin.
By the same directors, and then who went on to do something about Mary. But Kingpin's another one that I love a lot.
And
I can't watch it.
I'm not saying that you guys are awful for loving this film at all, and I 100% agree. It's just, it was too much for me.
I can see
Jim Carrey.
I can see that.
The funny thing is, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, there's one scene in Kingpin that almost had me walk out of the theater. I was with a group of other guys, and there's that one scene. I was just
the bull scene.
No.
Oh, which scene?
The landlady. I was not okay with that one.
Okay.
Not okay.
Lynn Shay will go off like she is game for anything.
Anyway,
I have been trying to get her for an interview for so long, but anyway, Dumb and Dumber.
Let's keep going.
It
deserves to be on the list.
It does, definitely.
This is
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Yeah,
maybe a little high, but it belongs on the list.
Yeah. Another John Hughes classic. I think Planes, Trains was better though.
I agree.
Vacation is better as far as John Hughes goes, but
should have been 25 or 26.
Yeah, a little lower.
Yeah, I agree.
Lower, but still a great movie.
This is a wonderful original movie.
Oh yeah.
That's the point. It's an original.
Best.
It is an original.
Oh, now is this one you'd actually consider a comedy?
No, not really.
Absolutely not. Doesn't belong on
this
list.
I don't understand why this is a comedy.
How's this funnier than any of the ones we've already seen? They've shown before.
great film, but not
it's a comedy though. I mean,
dramedy at best. I mean, there's some comedic moments in it, but I wouldn't.
You're going to include The Graduate, but not The Lady Killers.
Right.
So, I mean, that's just ridiculous.
Okay,
I don't get this one.
You know, if
It's a good movie.
Some people are saying it is. Some people are saying it isn't.
How did this? Wait, so line this up for me as one of these classic comedies. Somebody help me get there.
I cannot.
Okay, thanks.
It is.
It's a serious comedy.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Yeah, I disagree on that. It's a wasted spot right there.
Oh,
now here's why
the
Big Lebowski is on there, and I agree. They place those two perfectly. You got Big Lebowski in there, but Raising Arizona.
This is
if you have not seen this movie, is one of the funniest fucking movies ever made.
Yes,
and it goes so quickly. The movie is like, you're like, oh my god, is it done already? Because the whole movie feels like the beginning of the movie.
So this movie is like Dumb and Dumber. You've got two characters living in their own world so perfectly, and they don't cheat on the character ever.
Nope. Cage does something that I never thought he was capable of in this film, and it was brilliant. So this is
acting?
just
great, hilarious movie.
That was rough.
This really was a fantastic
I thought
movie.
Moonlighting better. Oh, not
Moonlight with
Cher.
Cher.
Oh my god.
Moonstruck.
That's a serious film.
Oh my god, that's horrible.
Yeah, Moonstruck. Yeah,
it's serious-ish.
Serious-ish.
Some good moments.
This is a really a good film.
Yep, absolutely deserving to be on there.
1987 was a heck of a comedy year.
Amazing movie.
I mean, this is the kind of comedies they don't do well ever.
They don't do it anymore.
There's a sequence in this film with a big chase sequence after he robs the store for the diapers.
The diapers.
That goes. It's maybe one of the funniest things I've ever seen filmed in my life. It's one of the funniest chases in anything ever. I mean, it didn't stop laughing for 10 minutes after it was going. I mean, it was incredible with that yodeling in the background.
But it was also the danger of the baby.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Right.
That's what made that scene work.
Yes.
Well, there was hilarity around the fact you were hoping the baby didn't get killed.
Yep.
Yes.
That was a brilliant. You go back to your point of writing. I think that was a very well written scene.
Yep.
Beautiful. Well, and it's a brilliantly set up plot, right? You have this couple who can't have a baby. You have this rich couple. Yeah, and this rich couple who had, too many babies through, artificial insemination or whatever it was, and they get this scheme in their brains. And it's just like almost like a Lindbergh baby scheme, but
they're stupid,
brilliantly put together.
Yeah, but you know what? They love each other. There's that base.
Yeah,
and they're doing this stuff out of love for each other.
And the supporting cast is amazing. Besides,
John
Helen
Goodman,
Hunt and Nicolas Cage, you got John
William
Goodman, William Forsythe. I mean, it's just, and those two together. Oh my god, they're a Dumb and Dumber couple just themselves.
No, this is so well done.
Yeah. Coen Brothers at their best. Exactly. Here we go. Can you see Coming to America? All right. Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, a controversial comedy.
Okay, I would say Trading Places is way funnier than this.
Agreed.
Yeah.
This is a fun movie.
See an argument for that.
Trading Places is a top 5 comedy.
Yeah.
This is more of a fun movie than a funny movie. It's fun and
the whole McDougal's
enjoyable.
bit.
Oh, I like it. It's a good movie.
But it's awesome.
I don't know, Clobby. Did you?
Good morning, New York. Fuck you.
Clobby, did you enjoy it at the beginning when he's being washed?
The royal penis is clean, sir.
Yes. I lost my at that point. I lost my stuff, man. I am like rolling because it was funny.
Every man loves that. Honestly,
it's a funny movie. I'm not saying that, but
I see some debate in the chat about it.
You're right, though, Clobby. This is too high.
I think it's
maybe too high on the list, but I think it should be on the list. I mean,
yeah.
And I know
it's
Paul,
definitely should be on the list over some ones that we've sent on her already, like The Graduate.
Paul is a little, Paul's a little wishy-washy on Eddie Murphy, and I understand that. But here's the thing with Coming to America, like
nice seeing that.
It is arguably his second biggest film after Beverly Hills Cop. right? Like, I mean, if Eddie Murphy, as far as his movies people know about, I remember when this movie came out, it wasn't just a movie that, the regular audiences like my aunt loved this movie that recently just passed away this morning, which is odd, but like, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like I remember she loved it. She bought this movie when it came out. That's how I saw it the first time.
Mainstream movie.
It was a big, huge mainstream movie. And I think why it works, and John Landis said it perfectly, even though it's raunchy and R-rated, it's kind of like Revenge of the Nerds. It has a sweetness to it. It has a sweet center to it. It's a fairy tale set in the modern day.
Mm-hmm.
It's a terrific movie. I'm just saying it's funnier than a lot of these ones that we're seeing. Yeah.
Well, my favorite Eddie Murphy movie is Bowfinger.
Yes.
That's a whole nother level.
That is Oscar level.
The scene where they go, okay, it's time to go get a crew, and they're at the border, and they're all running across. Come on, getting to load them in the back of the truck.
Well, not just that. Eddie Murphy got robbed of an Oscar nomination.
Oh, he did on that. Chubby Ray
is so much better than this.
And that I will not argue.
Yeah.
But Bowfinger is probably. We need to do a show just on underrated comedies, and Bowfinger
would be one of them.
Definitely in the top 5. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Borat. I can see why they have it in here, not this high. And I want to give Borat a few years to breathe before I would say it culturally has significance as they probably are expecting.
Now, where I saw this and stuff, I laughed like crazy when I was in the theater at this. But
I rewatched it for the sequel, and it doesn't. It's one of those the first time you see it kind of things.
That's my opinion. It was a phenomenon.
That's what it was. It was a phenomenon based on what Saoirse Cohen's done. He's done some fairly good films since. He was great as the antagonist in.
Some people would argue The Great
Ricky
Dictator
Bobby
was
film.
a better film too.
Talladega Nights.
Talladega Nights. He was great in that.
I think Andre would argue The Great Dictator was a better film too. I think.
Yeah,
Great Dictator.
I think that's the one he likes. Yeah. Okay, here's one that's I guess When Harry Met Sally. I can see this should be a little lower on the list, but
it's a rom-com. I mean, and again, it just
The Princess Bride that's on here is a much more comedic film than
spoilers. Rob Reiner directed both, but yeah.
Oh, sorry,
a lot of Rob Reiner movies on here, though. I noticed Spinal Tap. There you go.
From a script writing and plotting perspective, I put this under perfect movie category. I'm not talking about comedy.
What the hell happened to Rob Reiner?
This is a perfect script.
No, I can't. I can't disagree with that.
It's a great film,
and it's funny.
I hate Meg Ryan, but go ahead, Culture.
Wait, so this wasn't Nora
Ephron?
Yeah,
she wrote it.
I was making sure. Okay, because like I'm flipping out. I'm like, Rob didn't write this.
Rob Reiner directed it though.
Yeah, he didn't write this. It was Nora, and Nora did a bunch of great stuff.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yep. We missed the Jewish female script writers in.
No, but as far as directors go, I mean, Rob Reiner used to be one of the.
Look at that list: Stand by Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, Misery, A Few Good Men. Okay, come on.
Like, what the fuck happened to him?
There's some Oscar stuff.
But you know what? You don't have to get much. You don't have to do better than that. Leave him alone.
I guess you're not wrong, Paul. I can't argue that.
I love this movie. I absolutely.
Oh my god, that's love.
There it is.
I love it.
Duck Soup.
Doc Soup. Where's Script Doctor when you need him?
I think that's the. When you think of the Marx Brothers, Duck Soup is what comes.
Yeah,
to
you
mind.
think of Duck Soup. Yeah,
but it's not, as you say, it's not the funniest film done.
But it's the one everyone thinks about. This is the one with the dictator, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, the war parody, and
but
I so good on all of those.
Like Night of the Opera a little bit better.
Which is the one that starts on the boat?
Monkey Business.
Monkey Business.
That
which I love. Yeah.
I think that might be the funnier one, but
yeah, it's tough. I mean, that slate right between you really have Animal Crackers, which is a bit stagey, then you have Monkey Business, which is more of a movie, Horse Feathers, more of a film than this one, and then after that, after Night of the Opera, which was after this, which was brilliant, it kind of it was tough to start topping them.
I was at the Ontario Science Center for an entire evening of putting the Marx Brothers in, how do you say it? There were speakers who talked about how the Marx Brothers were not appreciated, but received back when they were doing these movies.
Mhm.
And all these people were of the era, and they said the Marx Brothers, pretty much all their movies except for Night at the Opera were financial failures because they were surreal. They were the Salvador Dali of comedy. They emphasized that whatever crazy shit we like now, these guys were Megadeth crazy shit at the time.
Yes.
No one understood their movies. And it was a really great discussion.
Brilliant.
That's weird. I would have thought they fit perfectly in the time.
No, they
Not in the 30s.
were anarchic to a point where the general public did not understand their comedy at all.
Wow. Just too intellectual at the time.
Yeah, over the top.
I see what Paul's saying. Yeah, like you even saw it to a lesser extent for like things like the Three Stooges and such too.
Yeah.
In a way.
Well, the Three Stooges was pretty physical comedy. It was pretty straightforward.
But there was more than physical comedy there. That's the point, is that once you start to really watch them
and
the
figure it
physical
out, there's
comedy
something
is a little bit different than just,
Oh,
that's
they
just a
had their
result
moments,
of, but yeah.
It was really interesting to hear how they were received in their time, because we get what they're doing now, but at the time,
yeah.
And
comedians knew, though. I mean, the reverence that they had for Groucho Marx.
Oh,
I was going to say, there were
You-
comedians
They
at that
knew.
time. Yeah.
They knew.
Yeah.
Well, I
That
would
was
say
what-
my grandmother, who graduated high school in 1938, that was her favorite comedy group. Was them. So, but she was the one when I was 6 let me watch Benny Hill. So I know what real comedy's like.
I love Benny Hill.
So this is interesting that it's here. This is a very funny movie.
I really wish Script was here for this part.
But does it deserve
Clark
to be
Gable.
here? I mean, I think you have to.
It should be a lot farther down.
They don't make him like Clark Gable anymore. That's sure.
Not in the context of the era that it was shown in.
I guess that's where I wish Script was here to make an argument one
You
day.
know what, I would argue that the Thin Man series is a little bit funnier. Yeah, but again, that's one of my favorite series.
I mean, you could say Arsenic and Old Lace is funny.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah.
I
Yeah, I
think
was
that
gonna
they're
say
just throwing in parts from back then, and they're just picking movies.
All right, now here's a problem I have. Woody Allen has 10 fucking better movies than Annie fucking Hall.
No, funnier.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
Funnier, right?
But
Okay,
yes,
funnier movies. Yes, thank you. This is a
Sleeper.
decent film, but Sleepers,
Sleeper,
there's
holy Jesus.
everything you ever wanted to know about. There's so many
Yeah.
funnier films in this. What
Sleeper.
the?
It's because this is an
beats
Academy
Because it
Award.
beats
film.
Star Wars, exactly.
It's not better than Star Wars either. So
I agree.
no, but it's a geek. Hey, it's a geek show. What are you gonna do?
I know.
This
for
I want
a
to hear
fact
Paul's
this is
take on
Bobby's
this
favorite
because
film.
This was a charming movie.
Bobby watched this 4,000 times more than.
But,
he watched
I'm surprised they actually let him on the list. To be honest with
Purple
you,
Rosa Cairo is better than this.
Zelig.
That's true. Yeah.
Zelig was fun. I wouldn't say better. I would say they were
Or funnier.
funnier.
I'm funnier. Yeah, you're right.
honestly,
Zelig
fair.
was genius.
Yeah,
Mhm.
full disclosure, I never really liked Annie Hall that much. It's all right.
I mean, yeah.
Well, it depends on when you see it. I mean, it really does. And because with some of these comedies, depends on how you're feeling, what's going on in your life at the time,
True.
right?
Yeah.
Because you
Fair
come in like one of the funniest movies I've ever seen is a movie called Out Cold, and it's the first time I saw Zach Galifianakis. It's got one of the London brothers in it. It's got Peter. One of the guy that was the sportscaster in Anchorman. It's just a crap
Paul Rudd?
comedy. It's got Lee Majors in it.
What?
And yeah, and it's just a stupid ass snowboarding film. But the time that I saw it, what was going on, I laughed through the whole film, and I can watch it over and over again. And
Well, I think the problem
Better-
is. Go ahead.
Better Off
Culture.
Better Off Dead's a classic. It really is.
I don't know that one.
$2.
John Cusack.
Oh, John Cusack.
$2.
Yeah. But we're talking
Yeah.
about Woody Allen here now for a moment. Because look,
Why? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
well, I was just gonna say, look, I get it. The controversy overshadows a lot of things, but look, that all shit aside, Woody Allen is one of those guys that I mean, he kind of changed comedy writing in a lot of ways, and changed what a comedy film could be. Sure, Annie Hall's kind of an example of that, but like I agree, he has much better films than this, and I doubt he's even on the list after this.
Funnier, like I said,
yeah,
not
funnier.
necessarily
I say better, but
And
He
now
was invited
Dimensions
to the
and,
Venice Film
and
Festival.
Dementites. It's now our top 10.
I know. Our top 10.
yeah, Bridesmaids. Paul Feig's Bridesmaids.
shouldn't even be on the list.
I know why it is because of all the
I never watched
Oscar
it.
shit it got and all that stuff. It's not a horrible film, but after seeing Ghostbusters, I didn't like it no more.
It's not funny.
It's not as funny as it originally was. You're right.
Yeah.
This is
is
a
funny.
highly
I
overrated.
This
didn't.
is funnier than Duck Soup. Go to hell.
Yeah,
I didn't.
That's the thing. Where this is on this list,
I mean,
F
good
that.
God, dude.
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Culture? I over.
No, you're fine. I just want to say that I didn't ever find this funny. I didn't think this was a good comedy, and it's not because it's all chicks. Because there's plenty of all chicks comedy movies I really enjoyed. This one is not one of them.
What's the one where the guys go off with the tiger and
Hangover?
Hangover?
I was going to say, actually, you got one before that. This is more or less Bachelor Party.
Okay.
With women.
Yeah.
But yeah, similarly more recent would be Hangover. But yeah, this is not anything new.
No,
I don't know why it got all the praise it did at the time, but yeah.
I would put it at 30. I think it's because it was like a lot of very funny, allegedly funny women were put together in a movie, and Hollywood decided that they were going to anoint it. It's not a very funny movie.
There's better films than this by far.
If they're going to put it on this list, make it 30.
Right.
No,
Well, it
this
shouldn't
is
even be on the list.
This is a great movie right here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, this is one I have not seen, but I have.
Oh, it's so
love
good.
this freaking
I've
movie.
heard so many great things about it. I can't wait to check it out. So
It's brilliant.
Jack Lemon's
Yeah.
great.
You almost forget it.
Oh, I love Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau. Like that's the other thing. How are none of their films on here? They better be in the top.
The Odd
fucking 10.
Couple.
Better
Oh, yeah,
be in
the-
here.
You can already tell by the time we got to this that this list is completely effed up. But
Yeah.
Yeah. Placement.
How
But
are
this
at
is- this
least
is great though.
like I mean, Culture and I will definitely fight for the Odd Couple any day of the week. But I love the Grumpy
yeah.
movies too. Like I mean,
Yeah.
those two talk about
Grumpy old
chemistry.
men. Grumpier old men.
Yeah, but
so
Odd
good.
Couple is better than those. So come on.
Like you almost have like their kids talk about their relationship like it was a marriage.
Yeah.
Like these two had chemistry and love for each other like no other pair in Hollywood, it feels like. And I don't know if you could find a couple, or a pair in Hollywood as far as like the chemistry they had, like Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I'd love to hear your guys out in the chat, your thoughts if you think there's more or there's somebody who has a better combo as far as chemistry in Hollywood, but I don't know. They did almost more movies together than almost anybody.
Shirley MacLaine was so good.
I liked Martin and Lewis.
Martin and Lewis is maybe close.
Yeah.
Laurel and Hardy, I suppose, but like,
Yeah.
I don't know,
no Hope and Crosby movies on this.
I love that.
Let's see
Yeah,
Bob Hope.
There's one of my favorite actors, and you said Hope and Crosby and
Danny Kaye.
Danny Kaye.
Danny Kaye.
I knew it.
You knew it, Danny Kaye.
I knew you were
Great.
thinking of Danny Kaye.
Amazing,
Scarlett
amazing.
Pimpernel.
Wilder
He
and
was-
Pryor come awfully close too. Both
Danny
together.
Danny
Oh.
Kaye was so talented. He could do just about anything.
Yeah.
Was it the
amazing.
Talented Professor? Was the
unreal.
one where he was in the music stuff with the other guys and they were recording all the music?
Yeah.
Is that what it
Committee.
was?
Yeah. He was
Everything he did was.
Abbott
White
and Costello,
Christmas.
I guess. Yeah, Lewis
Yeah.
and Jerry
Yeah.
Lewis.
Yeah, but
Martin
I'm a
Lewis.
big fan of Lewis.
Martin and Lewis, though.
Oh, here we go.
Well,
Speaking
greatness.
of Gene Wilder,
Absolutely.
Young Frankenstein, Mel
He wrote
Brooks.
this
I
film.
mean, fuck. I mean,
Gene Wilder wrote this film, didn't he?
look, already I can see that there's a problem here, probably because Blazing Saddles, this, and Spaceballs all belong on this list.
Baseball
They do.
does not belong on this.
I disagree with that. Because to me,
Too
it
late.
makes all.
It came
I
out
don't agree
way
about
too late.
Oh.
Way late.
I would argue
People
this
still
is
quote
Peter
it.
Boyle's best art.
We already got the producers on here, which I'm fine with that. But you need
Yeah,
those
Blazing
three
Saddle needs
movies.
to be on there.
This is
Spaceballs.
fantastic.
What knockers?
Baseballs was our Blazing Saddles, Paul. You got to
Everybody on this
understand that.
film. Oh.
Frau Blucher.
I don't know. I still think Ice Pirates was pretty decent.
It was good. But Andre would make an argument for Spaceballs. I think with the test, because here's why I also say this, with the test of time, I'm kind of right. Because Mel Brooks will tell you, of all my movies, what do you think is my number one seller? It's not Blazing Saddles. It's not even Young Frankenstein. It's Spaceballs.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, great. Another Jewish princess.
Oh, no. Funny. Yeah, Jewish.
And she's going out the door and out to the... Somebody's going to get married today.
You the bridegroom? No.
And guess what? Chuck Berry's biggest song, actually the only hit song he ever had.
The only hit song Chuck Berry ever had?
Yeah.
Wow. What?
My Dingaling.
My Dingaling.
Yes. You mean his only number one hit? I can
only
see
number one song.
I was gonna say because he had plenty of hits, but yeah,
that was on the album Dumb Ditties.
Surprised at how few top tens he had.
Well, he had maybe top 10. I mean, but he had Johnny Be Good and the
no,
he was not played by the radio stations at that time.
That's true.
They actively kept.
That was
him
Martin
out.
McFly, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He apparently was very pissed off that My Dingaling is the one that he's going to be remembered.
I think he can thank Dr. Demento for that too.
Probably.
Anyways, because I'm pretty sure it's on those greatest hits I have.
This deserves to be on the list.
Oh fuck yes.
Did you have the Dumb Ditties album?
Whoa.
No, I don't have that one. I want to get that one now.
Okay, so my dad has that one. That had the Ballad of Irving, and we're sitting in the back seat with Fred and My Dingaling and the Monster Mash.
I have a couple of those. Like
fish heads.
Heads. I have that one.
Holy fish.
Billy Mummy.
We're just gonna have to do a Dr. Demento episode. Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Monty Python and the
Great
Holy Grail.
movie.
I agree with you guys. Flip flop this with Life of Brian.
I agree. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great movie, but yeah.
But Life of Brian was too low, so I would say that there are multiple movies that I would flip with either this.
Fair. Yeah.
This is a top 20, and Life of Brian's a top 10.
Bring out your dad.
You know, this got played much more on PBS back in the 70s and 80s than Life of Brian did. And I think it was because, like, back then in the 80s, they were afraid of offending the religious right.
I was going to say, Life of Brian's got more controversy attached to it, too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, back then. Well, nowadays with the Loretta scene, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah. But look, all three of the Monty Python movies could have been on here. Actually, you can count 4 with the greatest hits movie, and now for something different, I would even took that. But like, yeah.
Would you count
Or not for some
Jabberwocky? Well, that was just Michael Palin.
Yeah, that's kind of some people kind of
Yellowbeard is one of
consider
my
it one, but
favorites. Oh, there it is.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't
the
have
basement
that one.
tapes.
Hey.
That's
All right.
it.
Yeah. All right, we got the
this is
General with
brilliant.
Buster Keaton. Here you go.
Oh my God.
Go ahead, Paul.
This is still amazing.
One of my favorite films of all time, period. Like, period.
Still amazing to this very day.
Yep.
Buster Keaton knew how to make film.
And not die.
No.
Well, he did a lot of these stunts.
Well, he was also a pioneer of special effects. Don't forget
Yes.
that.
Tom Cruise before Tom Cruise.
Yeah, it was. They did a lot of facial CGI de-aging on him.
Yes, he
On
was the
the-
first guy
yeah.
to use CGI even before J Law.
That's right.
Yeah.
I hear
Before
that
computers.
he invented the green screen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is
No, but what he's
this
in all
is so
seriousness,
good.
he had worked a lot with forced perspective, and a lot of other things that really kind
Illusions.
of illusions, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, he was doing illusions. There was a lot of what you would consider magic in his
Yeah.
films. That was the illusionist stuff that they did. Like that famous scene of all the guys on the girder eating
Yep,
lunch
the
in New York,
railroader from Canada. Yep.
right? That entire photo was just an illusion. They weren't anywhere near that.
Well, and then the clock.
I was going to say the clock tower thing that, clearly is being paid homage in Back to the Future too, but yeah.
Right. And this was silent film, right?
Yep. This
Yeah.
was great.
Did he ever make a sound film? I don't think so. Yeah.
yeah.
I was-
Maybe
Did he?
some.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah.
He was
I
even
didn't
in
really
a
get
Twilight
this
Zone
deep into
episode,
Keaton. So.
but it was silent.
I do need to deep dive into
He
some
was
classic
in
shit.
a funny thing happened on the way to the
Okay.
forum, but by that
Hmm.
time he was just being abused by people.
Mm.
He
A
was
Twilight
also an
Zone episode-
alcoholic.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, I did
before we
not
get
know
into the
that.
top 5 here, let's get into some of these super chats here. I don't want the audience to feel like they're being left out. Thank you so much, guys, for
They
being
like
so
the
generous.
show. They like the.
They do
content.
like it. They do. Your Muslim
You know
uncle
what? You're
says,
being positive.
have
Muslim
you
uncle, we
guys-
love you to death. You're being positive. This is what people want to see is positive stuff.
I agree.
So, thank you for doing this, Tom.
your Muslim uncle says, have you guys watched the new History of the World? No, we haven't. But the original History of the World, that's the other wild card Mel Brooks movie I might have thrown in here if somebody would have said it. I've been like, oh yeah,
Not
definitely.
consistent.
It's not as consistent as his other films, but it's decent enough and it's better than a lot of.
It does have one of the best gags ever, which was the
Yes.
15.
Yes.
10.
The
10
commandments. I bring to you 15, 10 commandments.
Boy.
Boy. DCB Titan says Edge of Tomorrow is based on manga. All you need is kill. That is correct, but they're still kind of similar in the sense of the kind of story they're telling. Elusive says I was in a band in the 90s and we got lost in a club trying to get to the stage. All of a sudden our singer just shouted, rock and roll, man, rock and roll. That's the beauty of Spinal Tap, is that they did not base, and this is the funny thing, because you listen to them, like, because it's all improvised, other than they had like kind of set up ideas and they were just going to kind of run from there. Like, none of their stories are actually based on anything, but people associate their stories because it was so realistic.
That's
right.
not my understanding. Like, a member of Black Sabbath and Machine Head fed stories to Rob
That could
Reiner.
be. That could be too, but
that's one of the reasons why some of the, I think some of the band members from Yes were really pissed off because they went, "Oh my God, this is the shit that we've gone through." Like all that flower that wouldn't open up, I believe, was a problem with one of a Yes prop.
Well, funnily enough, what I was getting at, Paul, is like several bands kept coming out. Like all the time, you would say, "Oh, that happened to us," or "That's based on what happened." It's like 3 or 4 different bands will take credit for it because, like you said, the authenticity of it is all those things are real. In fact, this getting lost on the way to the stage is one of the most famous stories that happens to almost every band, because the way these venues are always set up, these guys have no fucking clue how to get there, and they're all screwed up, and they have no idea what the hell's going on. Unless they have somebody to really try to guide them, they don't know what the hell's going on.
That's true.
That's why they always have a stagehand that leads you down the tunnels, because you're so freaking lost in those.
What's
places.
funny is that black guy in the movie that gives them the directions. He's an actual guy that worked at the stadium or whatever. He's like, you go down the hall and you take a left. He's like, yeah, all that stuff is like real.
Okay,
He liked that they were a real band.
Number 5.
Yeah, number 5. Let's keep moving here. We got a couple more super chats I want to grab first, though.
Okay.
Zontar says CW NASCAR Xfinity deal is bigger than people realize. No race series has ever been entirely on U.S. national broadcast. A major reversal of sports trends. Actually, no, Zontar. In fact, I want to give credit to Culture and myself and a few others who pointed out that this was a pretty big deal for them. Actually, so yeah, no, this is kind of a big deal. Paul, you want to say anything about that?
Me? I've NASCAR.
No, okay, never mind.
He's an F1 guy. He's
I know.
Andy,
I figured.
F1 Trans
Culture, you got anything more to say? Quick.
No, this is a huge deal. We talked about it a little bit on a previous show. I think that it's a great thing for Nexstar, and I think it's a sign of things to come for sports. I think you're going to see more of it spread out rather than just on ESPN, because ESPN can't afford these rights. So there you go.
Right.
NASCAR died 15 years ago.
It did. They killed
died
him
with
last
Ricky
5.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Elusive says, Tom, if you want a 1-2 punch of Jack Lemmon brilliance, watch The Apartment and then watch Days of Wine and Roses. Yes, that's another one on my list.
But that's not a funny movie.
Yeah, they couldn't be more different, as he says here, or they say here. But they're both brilliant. I know Paul would agree. Well, he didn't agree necessarily, but he did say, yeah.
You think Jack Lemmon is an underappreciated actor?
Oh, hell yeah.
Not in Hollywood.
Not
in Hollywood, though. No, he was an actor's actor in Hollywood, but like as far as like
Some Like It Hot. Come on.
As far as his greatness and at the time and probably the amount of work that he did compared to the amount of praise he got, most likely, yeah. He's an underrated actor for sure.
Yeah. I
Speaking
there's
of
some-
the devil, holy shit! Look at that.
Oh my gosh!
There it is. Somebody did not look at
One of the
list.
most forward-thinking comedies of all time, and never gets brought up enough, I would say. And I was
God,
surprised
Tony Curtis, man.
how well
Oh.
it still holds up when I saw this just this last year in 4K.
It's a great movie.
It is.
Yeah.
It's
Who's the male?
way ahead of its time.
Who's the guy in this scene?
Someone Howard. It's
His voices, though. We've heard he does
Yes.
so many voices.
huge radio
Yeah.
personality. Not Frankie Howard. It's anyway.
Yeah, I know. I was sitting there going, okay, it's in the picture. I figured I was hoping it would be this one because I was trying to remember that guy's name. He's been in so many things.
Oh yeah.
Didn't he do so? He's the voice of Sylvester and a couple of others, wasn't he?
Don't think
No,
so.
all
No,
Mel
I can't-
Blanc did all
No,
the.
Mel
Mel
Blanc
Blanc did all that stuff. But yeah, okay.
But
He did do
yeah,
cartoon voices, this guy.
he did do cartoon voices. But yeah, it's funny because he already knows he's a man at the end. Spoilers.
Mm-hmm.
And it's progressive because he's like, I don't care. I still want to fuck you.
Yep.
Mhm.
Such a great. It's a great.
Speaking of not caring and still wanting to fuck you, culture has to leave.
That's a hell of a segue. Wow. I'm not sure I deserve that. In fact,
That's
I'm
what it
almost
feels
certain.
like sometimes when you just show up to leave and. No, I'm kidding.
I wanted to stay longer.
I know.
No, but
you got
I
a
have
show coming up here.
I got a show to prep
Wham,
for.
bam,
Yeah,
thank
so-
you. We
and I
Yeah,
had
he
a,
weaves.
I had a great time. I had a great time.
We know you have stamina issues.
Dude, I
got
give
pills
you
for that.
12. I give you 12 minutes for 6 minutes times like
That's true.
10 sometimes.
And every single one is worth it.
That's what I thought.
what I hear.
All
Every
right.
minute with you is
Well, this
Love
is
you guys.
linked to your show, Culture, so don't
Oh, wow.
worry. Everybody should be linked over there.
Okay,
after
well,
the
I
show,
can't wait
so.
to see you all, and you guys. I'll see you.
Speaking of that, I want to
Right.
thank
Okay.
everybody who came over from Valiant Show as well. by the
Oh
way.
yeah, and this thing, this was gold. Thank you for sharing it with me. I love it. Appreciate it.
Well,
See you
this is
guys
kind of
later.
what we've been doing on Sunday nights.
Oh,
so
I know. I love it. I'm enjoying these
All right.
like immensely. Bye.
Take care.
You're
And we got
welcome.
another Charlie Chaplin film coming in at number 4 with City Lights.
It's a good movie.
There you go.
Yep.
Did you guys mention this one earlier, or was it a different one you guys mentioned earlier?
I don't know.
I mentioned the Gold Rush,
Gold
Yeah,
Rush,
you
that
did,
was the other one.
yeah.
Yeah.
which
yeah,
is absolutely brilliant.
yeah.
That's
There you
that's
go.
got the one with the forks in the shoe in the potatoes
Right.
dancing.
Here's the first
This is
movie I
great.
think this is the actual fucking place it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I mean, this
It
isn't
deserves it.
this isn't the talk for best comedy of all time, is it?
Oh yeah.
It's a no,
Mm.
maybe I don't know, but it's in the talk.
I
Exactly.
saw it fairly recently. I don't think it has aged well, but
Oh, okay.
I'm it doesn't bother me
I haven't
It's
watched
40
it in
years
about
old.
5-10 years.
because
yeah,
I
so-
remember when I first saw it, I was just dying. Like
It-
could not help
That's the
myself.
thing. It was
I've
a
never laughed more. At the
kind of the
Just-
first of its kind thing.
Yep.
It was the first parody movie, so you kind of almost gotta have it on here in that sense. I
Oh,
mean,
no.
it
I'm
it's
not
infinitely
complaining about its
quotable
place.
still.
Pick the warm week to quit sniffing glue.
Yep.
I don't even like it as much as most comedies, but yeah, I just can't not get behind
was
the
a-
argument that it deserves to be in the top 10. If not, this is probably the most
There was a shock value
obviously placed one. Yeah.
that you lose when this film came out this far. So it's 40 years old, right? 43.
Mhm.
All the actors, right? Leslie Nielsen was a serious actor
Yeah.
until this film. Robert
True.
Stack, serious
Robert
actor.
Stack.
And
All of
Bridges.
them were, yeah.
the comedy hit harder in this film because this is when my
Pretty great.
dad and I sat down and talked. He said, all these actors, he knew them as serious actors, and we saw this. It killed him that these lines were being delivered by these people as straight men.
And that's why I think that the later parody films like Not Another and Meet Those
Mhm.
didn't quite get it.
Listen,
a lot of those were
Peter
just-
Graves is talking to the boy and goes, "Do you like Roman gladiator film?"
Yes.
And you're going, "Holy shit!"
You ever seen a grown man naked?
Naked.
Whoa.
And the cameos. How about Jimmy J.J. Walker cleaning the windshield of the airplane?
Or like
Oh.
fucking Mrs. Cleaver talking jive?
Jive.
That's right.
Oh man.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's what this movie it gets it. Later on, and that's one of the reasons why I bring up Spaceballs, because to me, post Spaceballs, there was like very few, including almost all of Mel Brooks post that with Robin Hood and Dracula, even he kind of lost the spark. I mean, sure,
Lost the
Scary
edge.
Movie was okay, but like after that, every parody just kind of died at that point, and it never came back. We've never had one since that has quite grasped what these guys got making these films. And the few that we got out of Mel Brooks and stuff, those guys were a rare breed that they knew how to
Kareem
deliver
Abdul-Jabbar
this.
and Peter Graves in this.
Right.
Were
Yes.
great.
Yep.
They're back.
And the co-pilot there, the blow up doll
I
guy.
would love to
like,
see what we hit the cutting room for.
Naked Gun
Naked
did
Gun.
okay in places.
Yes. Well, those were guys like that was actually kind of you kind of got to give Naked Gun a little bit of credit because didn't the police the original show
TV show was way better
came out
than the
before
movies.
this, didn't it? And then
No, it didn't come out. It didn't come out before Airplane.
Was it 80? Okay, so
No,
it was
it
80.
was a couple
yeah,
years
okay.
after Airplane. But
all right, thank you.
The
Claudia.
show's better than the Naked Gun films, which
True,
by far.
true. But it's the same people, right? Because the same guys.
Yeah,
who did this.
Abrams, Zucker, and Abrams and Zucker.
Yeah.
Kentucky
still-
Fried Movie.
Yeah,
Kentucky
Fried
Fried
Movie is
yeah.
kind of where it
Another
started. You're
hilarious
right.
movie. Yeah.
It was hilarious.
That's good, but it's not quite refined.
The Naked
Airplane
Gun
is
film,
refined. Yeah.
my best experience in a theater was the Naked Gun. I'm in a full theater. There's probably 350 people. And he's broken up with her. They're in the Blue Note bar, right? And you got all the guys sitting there drinking and crying. And they're panning across the bar. And at the back is a picture of the Titanic sinking. The next one is the Hindenburg blowing up. And then the one next to Frank Drebin when he shows up is Michael Dukakis. And I'm the only one in the theater rolling on the floor laughing at this. Everyone's looking at me. And I'm like, that
Great
was
scene.
freaking funny.
And here's one that I think is now that we're getting so low on the list, I can almost imagine Tropic Thunder is not on this list.
Yeah, Tropic Thunder.
I'm already
It
thinking
should
of a
have
lot
been
of
in the-
things that aren't. Yeah.
Oh fuck! Like, how is this not where Anchorman was or something
Yes.
at least?
Yes.
Like, come on. This is arguably probably the last good comedy we ever
what?
got.
We often use both Zoolander and Mystery Men as tests for new couples that come to our
You
house.
told me
whether
that.
we want to have them as friends anymore.
Really?
Which I'm not a huge fan of Zoolander. I liked it okay, but I wasn't as big a fan as
So if
everybody
they do
else
a
was.
Mystery Men 2, I want Paul to play the spleen.
I was just gonna say Mystery Men, on the other hand, is
Oh,
a
my
huge
finger.
guilty pleasure of mine.
finger.
Or the Blue Raja.
Blue Raja.
Yes.
I'm the shoveler.
The
I
shoveler.
shovel very well.
Mystery Men is one of my favorite all-time movies.
It is great. It is
It's
classic.
hilarious.
It was like 2 years too early. I always say that to people. I'm like, if it
Maybe.
had waited to just about the same time as the Avengers had come out, probably would have made
Yeah, true.
$200-300 million more dollars. But yeah,
It still
it's
was
sad.
What was the name of that thing they drove?
Non-lethal weaponry.
Yeah, the non-lethal weaponry was great. And the Herkischmer, whatever they called that thing.
Yeah.
Trucks or whatever
The
they drove.
Herkimer.
Okay,
The
I'm glad they brought this on here. I wasn't expecting
here it
this
is.
to be on the list.
It
Here we
belongs.
go. Arguably between this and Caddyshack, I think you could argue for spot for best
Caddyshack
comedy
has
of
to be
all
number
time.
one.
Yeah, I'm already pissed off.
Animal
about what they
House
left
wasn't
off
on
with
here.
it.
What the fuck?
Wow, you're right.
MASH,
Mash? Yeah.
for God's
Animal
sake.
House.
So far, anyway.
Wow.
I
We'll
haven't
see.
seen
Thank
it.
God there was no Adam Sandler movies.
Oh, Jack and Jill's going to be number
thank
one,
God for
Tom.
that, yeah.
Didn't you look forward to this?
Oh no!
You know
kidding,
why
right?
Richard Pryor wasn't starring in this?
Oh, because they studio between his drug habits and the fact that they weren't sure.
No, they
How he
couldn't.
was-
They couldn't insure him.
Yeah, I was gonna
Insurance.
say because of insurance and yeah, they weren't sure if he was gonna be able to do it.
Cleavon Little, though.
Going on,
Oh
yeah.
my God, Cleavon was
Brilliant
A
casting.
command performance.
absolutely.
It's amazing.
Excuse me while I whip this out. I mean,
Oh.
we quote this movie on the daily.
Oh, yeah.
Don't we?
Everyone
I mean,
does.
come on. I mean, it's
This is
somebody go back and get a shitload of dimes.
Oh, who is
What-
that guy? The one you just quoted.
Oh,
Slim Pickens.
Slim Pickens. Oh
So
God.
funny.
Slim
And
Pickens.
he did
We
this,
ride
and he
into
did.
town, a whopping and a whooping.
Where the hell is Dr. Strangelove?
Yeah, why isn't that the strange?
Oh yeah.
You're killing
Holy
everything
shit.
in sight. What about the women folk? Do you let them live? Oh hell no, we rape the hell out of them.
There is one of the interesting things on YouTube I find fascinating is the black subculture that investigates white entertainment.
Mhm.
Huh?
So there's a subculture of black reactors.
Oh, okay.
They react to 70s music, all like white synth pop,
Okay.
you know, music and movies like this. And they react to them and then they comment, you know, on it. And I find it really interesting to see modern individuals comment on this stuff.
Oh, I saw one last week that they did these guys watching Larry Bird for the first time.
Oh,
and they're like, oh, he's nothing. And they're like, oh, and he did that to Magic. They're like, oh, he did that to Magic. And they're like, oh, he wouldn't be able to do that to LeBron James. Like, no, he would.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
Well,
that's a good to
There's
watch
some
people
good
react to stuff
suggestions on here. And number
All right,
one,
number one is Dr.
There it
is.
Strangelove. There you go. Okay, where the fuck is Caddyshack and Animal
Caddyshack.
House?
Caddyshack, MASH, Animal House.
What the hell? I mean,
Holy
okay,
shit.
let's talk about Dr. Strangelove for a minute. Yes, I agree. This is one of the greatest
Yeah.
fucking comedies of all time.
Yep.
Definitely
Didn't see any
top
of the
5.
Pink Panther films on here.
Yeah,
either.
I was
Yeah,
gonna
no,
say,
no,
Yeah, you're right. No
either.
Black Panthers.
Nope.
Yeah,
Black Panther.
Wakanda Forever.
Wakanda.
And it would be offensive, but the party is not on this list.
Yeah, the
That's
party's
true.
not on here. That's a very highly debated one. Yeah,
Well,
but Dr.
I'm-
Strangelove, God, I mean,
I'm
Peter
very
Sellers,
concerned about our
Kubrick.
bodily fluids.
the only real comedy Kubrick's ever made.
So
I
mean,
Revenge
of
the
course.
Nerds. Someone mentioned
Yeah.
Revenge of the Nerds is on
trading.
here.
Someone mentioned
Trading
trading places. Trading places.
Trading
Back
Places
to the
is on here.
Future's not on here.
I mentioned
Trading
Trading
Places.
Places
Yeah,
before.
Trading
Trading
earlier,
Places is
yeah.
not on here.
Yeah.
Gods Must Be Crazy wasn't on here.
No, that was a great one. Yeah. Smokey and the Bandits in the comedy.
Smokey and the
yeah,
Bandit,
Smokey and the
Ghostbusters,
Bandits.
I mean, how's that not on
Ghostbusters,
there?
yeah.
Blues Brothers.
My son saw it when he was about 15 years old, and I told him it was a documentary.
Which one? Smokey and the Bandit? Smokey and the Bandit?
Men,
Yep.
you can't fight in here.
I
This is
love
the
that
war
movie.
room.
And again, the British stuff, The Mouse That Roared.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyone remember The Mouse That Roared?
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
actually had Peter Sellers in it.
Yeah,
Yep.
dude.
Peter Sellers was one of my dad's favorites.
Yeah.
Watched a lot of those films.
The
But
one
somebody
where
put
he
earlier,
played
they're right. There's
the,
no foreign films on here.
Mhm.
there's no foreign films on here.
Huh.
That Casual Fall, huge mistake.
It's. I see what
Right.
Paul was saying though. I am kind of surprised by what is on here, but I'm more surprised in some cases by what is left off.
Glaring omissions.
Because like, yeah, there's some like that we've mentioned already that are in most people's top 10s,
Yeah.
and it's just like, wow. I mean, all right, not a horrible list, but
No, not a horrible.
very oddball list.
Yeah.
It's like somebody put it in one of those
Yeah.
bingo.
A lot of
riddles.
a lot of strange
and
omissions.
bad, weird placement. Yeah.
Yeah, very weird placement. Like not very many new comedies too. Did you guys notice that? Somebody pointed out and I
Who said
highlighted
something?
it.
They don't make
A lot of
comedies anymore, do they?
not a lot of pre 90s or post 90s comedies
Except for
on the list.
Bridesmaids. Ugh.
Yeah, except for Bridesmaids, which
Yeah,
I
I
would
mean-
have definitely traded that out for Tropic Thunder or Ricky Bobby any day,
Yeah,
or
I
even.
would take Big Lebowski.
Or an
off of here for some
undersung
of these
one.
movies.
Well, I don't know. I make an argument for Big Lebowski, but at the same time, I'll let that one slide on certain other things. But like, I gotta say,
I'd
like,
replace it with Caddyshack.
yeah, exactly. Like
I
that's
mean,
the thing.
we just named like 8 or 9 movies that
Even
should have been
Walk
on this
Hard
list.
is a
Yeah.
very talk about underrated
Oh,
comedies.
Walk
like,
Hard. Oh, I love that.
Walk Hard, the Dewey
Hard.
Cox story. Oh my god! Like, yeah, what the
That
hell?
was
And
so funny.
no kids movies or Pixar movies or Shrek movies at all, whatsoever. Vacation wasn't on here.
Oh yeah,
The
How
vacation
the
films,
fuck
yes,
is it?
100%.
I expected at least Christmas Vacation to be on
Christmas
here. I'm
Vacation
completely
is
surprised.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can all say that
what
this
about
list was
what
crap.
about the Home movie with Culkin?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Home
Home
Alone.
Alone.
Yeah. Well,
Great
here's
movie.
one I will give Sander. I'll tell you what, I give him a credit that they didn't put the obvious something about Mary on here and did Dumb and Dumber. Because I've always argued that Dumb and Dumber and Kingpin were much better comedies than Something About Mary ever was. Something About Mary was just everybody late to the party.
I thought it was pretty good though.
It's
I'm just
good,
glad- I'm
but it's
just
not as
glad
good
that
as
no
those two. Is
Judge-
my point.
I'm just glad that no Judd Apatow movies made.
Very little
Yeah.
John Candy love. Oh God, that's at least another good thing.
Uncle
Yeah.
Buck was a good one, yeah.
Here's one that I can't believe isn't on here. One of the
South Park
funniest
movie.
fucking movies of all time. South Park, Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I
In that
agree.
case,
Doug,
Team America.
1985.
Yeah.
Team America.
Team America.
If not Team America, at least one of those two.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mac.
You know what?
You know, people
I've
make good
always
points.
been waiting for that Canadian invasion.
How about like someone has pointed out, Silver Streak or Stir Crazy, two great.
That's the
Pryor
thing.
and
No
Wilder
Richard
films.
Pryor, not
Wilder
one
films.
Gene, not one
Both of
Gene
those
and
are
Richard
great.
movie. Not one Richard
one Gene
Pryor
Richard
movie.
movie.
Period.
No, that's right.
I mean, I know a lot of his later films weren't as well received, but I mean, God, I mean, come on, at least one
Stir
Richard
Crazy's
Pryor movie.
underrated.
I mean, the South Park movie has Satan singing a love song, a song about
Up
being
there.
up there. Come on. And then he
There's
has
so
he has
much
sex with Saddam Hussein.
I think
Baby
there's
shark
something to be
and
said
blue,
for not including animated films on.
Yeah, I can get that.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, well, to
It's
a
a
point.
different. It's a different. It's almost a cheat.
Yeah,
Okay,
fair enough.
okay,
I was shocked
okay. I'll
when
give.
I first
Okay,
saw Paul on camera and his head didn't separate when he talked. very shocked
let
by
me.
that.
Will you give me
Is
this
he autistic?
caveat at least, Paul? Fine, I'll give away any kids movies like animated Disney and
Yeah,
Pixar
I mean,
films.
SpongeBob the
But I
movie. The
think-
first one's hilarious.
But I think things like South Park and the Beavis and Butthead movie should qualify, and they should actually be on the list. Here's another one that wasn't mentioned:
Idiot.
City
Oh.
Slickers.
Very
Ah,
good.
yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And where was Three Men? Even if you don't have the French version, where was Three Men and a Baby?
Mhm.
And here's another omission from the late 90s,
Oh, that's a
Office
big one.
Space. How the fuck are none of the Mike Judge movies on here? Speaking of Beavis and Butthead,
Yep.
how is not Office Space, Idiocracy on here? That's crazy.
Wayne's World
Wow.
does a good with Monkey Jeepers. Yeah,
Wayne's World's
World,
another
for
good
God's
one
sake.
that I can't believe. And Wayne's World was one of the highest
yeah,
grossing
Wayne's
comedies of all
World.
time.
Bill and Ted.
Ghostbusters wasn't on here.
Ghostbusters wasn't
No,
on
I
there,
can't believe Ghostbusters wasn't either.
I mean,
If they're calling
no
it a
Animal
fantasy
House, no
film or whatever.
Caddyshack, no Ghostbusters. This is an
Yeah,
invalid
yeah,
list.
this guy does not like Bill Murray much because all he had was Groundhog Day on here.
Right.
No Buddy Christ. Well, call sign Alucard. Here's the problem. Kevin Smith is okay. Dogma is probably his best movie
Yes.
at the end of the day.
Yes, Dogma has made me
Dogma's
think he
really
could
good.
actually make a movie.
Yeah. And what's sad, Paul, is I think I've told you this before, but seek out, it's really easy to find. Find the original script of Dogma. It's even better than the movie. The
Good
movie
point.
would have been an hour longer, but the script is
Yeah.
so much better than the movie. I mean, the
Good
movie's
point.
great, but
We love
oh
the
my
movie.
God, that script is amazing. One of the
Heck,
best scripts I've ever read.
Absolutely.
Going back to the top here, call sign Alucard says, Life of Brian needs to be in the top 5.
Easy.
It is aged fantastic. Yes. To modern day and mod day foe gods. The oppression competitions, Loretta part, biggest D. Yeah, we showed that scene. That's one of the only things we showed a clip of.
What about a
What did
fish
you
called?
end up
How about
having
a
to-
fish called Wanda?
Yeah, why wasn't Fish Called
Oh,
Wanda on
yeah.
here either? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Great movie.
Hot Shots wasn't on here either, at least
Yeah,
the
Hot
sequel.
Shots. Yeah, Hot Shots Part Two. Yeah,
That's one of those
Yeah.
rare sequels that's better than the first one.
right.
I
Yeah.
love those.
And then we
Yeah,
got Miguel Farah again, who
Right.
thank you so much, Miguel, for sending in so much love tonight. Says final list count, most comedies from USA, some from UK, nothing from the rest of the planet. Guess I won the bet.
Yep.
Well,
Mhm.
yeah,
There we
Paul
go.
had already kind of seen the list ahead of time, but yeah, yeah, I'm not surprised by the omission. I mean, I am, but I'm not surprised by a lot of the omissions on this.
Oh,
There's a good
and
point. No
consider
Robin
Brazil.
Williams.
No
What?
Robin,
No Robin
Williams.
Williams movie. So it's
Wow.
one of
No
those
Robin
stuff.
Williams, and even if you would have had like at least Cheech and Chong Up in Smoke, maybe.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck? Why isn't that not on here?
What about
Ah.
Brazil? Would you consider Brazil to be a comedy?
Not really.
No.
Science fiction.
Here's the thing with that. If you want to go
Maybe.
by
Not
Gilliam's comedies, I wonder if Brazil is a good movie, but
Better
as far as
Munchausen.
comedies go, yeah, I'd lean more towards
Yeah.
Baron Munchausen or Fear and Loathing.
Yeah, Fear and Loathing. Okay. Yeah.
That's
always a big
another one I'm
Yellow
kind of
Beard fan,
surprised that
but,
one's not on here.
Another
Yeah,
one
Mrs.
not on
Doubtfire
there.
should have been on there.
Speaking of foreign films, is Monsieur Olo's Holiday.
Mm.
Yeah, I see a lot of votes for Mrs. Doubtfire in the chat. I agree with
Right.
that. Good Morning Vietnam is another one that I think is a
Yeah,
strange
no,
omission.
no Jacques Tati.
It's kind of a
Good Morning
drama,
Vietnam. Not really. Oh, RV.
RV.
No, see, here's the thing with RV.
Yeah.
It's like you can't have RV if you're not going to have National Lampoon's
Okay,
Vacation.
that's fine. I agree. I agree.
Because that's like the
I know.
the
RV 's
original.
cheap.
RV was
Cheap
funny
laugh.
though.
But
I
no Jacques Tati is a crime.
Yeah, here's another one for
And-
Fear and Loathing. Yep.
No Danny Cave movie.
No, that's yeah.
Yeah.
Scarlett
No.
Pimpernel should have been on this list.
Should have been on there. So many of his films. So
I don't know about Summer Rental. Maybe The Great Outdoors there could be an argument made for, but One
That's
Crazy
funny.
Summer there's definitely an argument, and Culture brought up Better Off Dead. At least one of those two movies belong on the list. But those are very very low. Like,
I mean, they
not
already had
many
John
people know
Candy
about
on there
them.
with.
What about
Bleach
Fast
Red
Times at Ridgemont High? Just saying.
Fast Times
That's
at
an
Ridgemont.
omission. That's an omission.
Oh,
of
what about
sorts.
Bill and Ted?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking that one, but
I don't know if people consider that as high in the list, even though
Yeah,
I am a
fantasy.
personal fan, huge fan of Bill and Ted.
Well, you could do Dude, Where's My Car?
Well, see, that's what's funny is I bring up Dude, Where's My Car whenever anybody brings up The Hangover. I'm like, they already did that. How
Yeah,
was
they already did
Christmas
that, but I was
Story
about
not
Dude,
on
Where's My
here?
Car?
That's another omission that I can't believe.
Yeah, it's comedy.
Yeah, I think missing out National Lampoon Christmas Vacation is a huge
At least one of
omission.
them, yeah.
Yeah.
If not the first one, then the Christmas Vacation one should have been on there.
The
I
biggest
agree.
submissions of that and MASH, and I mean, just gotta.
Animal House.
Call sign
Animal
Alucard
House,
says
I agree with you.
Animal House, Caddyshack. Yeah, can't believe
Yep.
Ghostbusters isn't
Yeah,
on there either.
Ghostbusters. I mean,
Ghostbusters. How do you
And Blues
not-
Brothers. How do you not have
Oh,
Blues Brothers on
yeah,
there,
Blues
for fuck's
Brothers.
sake?
Oh my
Blues
gosh.
Ghostbusters.
Breaks
If they're
my
try-
heart seeing a
are they
boy
trying to
that
say-
young go so bad.
Are they trying to say that the Ghostbusters fits in some other weird genre that you can't put it in comedy? 'Cause
I don't
it's
know.
ridiculous. I'm just-
I only know there's just two kinds of movies: country and western.
I think they left Ghostbusters off because the people putting this list together would have then demanded that the 2016 version also appear.
Oh,
It was
you're
either
probably
all
right.
or nothing is I think
They're
probably
out.
what happened.
I could see that happening. Weird Science. Well, see, that's the thing.
Weird Science.
Weird
yeah.
Science. Tommy Boy belongs on there.
My Science Project is one
Oh,
of my
Pee
favorite
Wee's Big
comedies.
Adventure.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
Wow,
That's a good one.
Good one.
Now,
All sign Alucard says, "Is there a top 100 comedy specials list?" Maybe,
Maybe.
but that's the thing. If you notice, we just did 30 movies, and we are pretty much used up all our time. So yeah,
now
doing one of
Melissa
these lists
McCarthy
takes a
did
lot
a
of
movie
time.
called Spy,
Yeah,
which
well, that's
was
another Paul Feig
crude.
movie.
and I know I died laughing through that whole film.
the McCarthy film.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Spy.
did too.
See, I didn't mind when Paul was doing that
When
kind
the
of shit.
guy when she had the camera and she was flipping through the guy's camera, it was all the pictures of his giant penis and all that stuff from there, and she kept trying to turn it off, and it kept displaying. It just, oh my
I
god!
can't
When
believe
she
how many
was-
people
When she was
brought up Police
sliding down the
Academy.
guy.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
oh god!
I can't believe how many people have brought up Police Academy. I
And
mean, I
Jason
love Police
Statham was
Academy,
so
but
funny in that film.
I guess Police
things that
Academy has a
people-
much bigger following than I
Police
thought.
Academy. Oh, I didn't even
Yeah.
think about Police Academy.
And Beetlejuice, that's another one that I can kind of see an argument for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Porky's. Oh my god, how is Porky's not on this list? Oh my god, yes.
Twins. That was funny.
Twins.
Yeah,
Twins
that
was
was a
good.
fun movie. Yeah.
Yeah, not a lot of Ivan Reitman or Harold Ramis love on this list. Not a lot of love for any Lampoon people.
Modern Problems.
Definitely no Robin Williams love at all.
Stripes was funny.
Oh God,
Oh
yes.
my
You
God.
can't have
Stripes.
I
yeah, if
forgot
you're
about
not gonna have
Stripes.
Ghostbusters, you gotta have Stripes. I
Stripes
mean,
is
at least that's a
greatness.
straight comedy, right? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Modern Problems with Dabney Coleman. That was
There's only one DVD that I made sure I got away from my first ex-wife, and that's Stripes.
I love it.
And she's probably glad you
Great
did.
movie.
And I've seen a lot of people bring up Short Circuit. I got to agree, but I mean, I can see why Short Circuit wasn't on the
Funny.
list.
That
It
movie,
wasn't
science
exactly.
fiction. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't exactly most well received when it came out, but
No.
it's one of those movies that
I'm not sure it's a
Johnny
comedy
Five
really either, but yeah,
managed to stay in the pantheon this long with only 2 movies is strange, but yeah.
Yeah,
Uncle
the jerk.
Jerk.
one-
Yeah, how the
Jerk's a great
fuck was
movie.
the Jerk not on this
Oh,
list?
you're right.
I
can't believe the Jerk wasn't on there.
Jerk?
One of the great. There was absolutely no. Speaking, yeah, they had a lot of Rob Reiner love, but not a bit of Carl Reiner love at all.
Here's one. I hope you'll agree with me. Lost in America.
Yeah, Albert Brooks.
Yeah.
Albert Brooks.
Ah,
Fantastic.
Yeah, there
movie.
wasn't no Albert Brooks movies on here either.
Back to
Broadcast
school.
was broadcast news. A comedy?
No, there was no Albert Brooks whatsoever on the list. Yeah.
Or as good as it gets.
Not even some highbrow comedy at all. None.
I know that's James Brooks, but
yeah, but that's still highbrow comedy. Not any real highbrow comedy at all.
I would have put.
Like, they didn't even have. What was that? Sorry, Andy.
I would have put Back to School on there.
Maybe at least Caddyshack, right? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But like, I would have been okay with Back to School not being on there as long as Caddyshack was. But yeah, like, how do you omit some of these other ones? I just don't
Jesus,
understand.
Stripes. How is Stripes?
Yeah.
Yep.
the omissions list is longer than the.
I know,
The
right?
actual
Yeah.
list. Yeah.
I know, it's kind of crazy.
I'm
Princess
not
Bride wasn't on
surprised
there
that the
either.
aristocrats didn't make it.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if that documentary is on YouTube or not, because
The
you talked about it a
Aristocrats?
few times. Yeah, I've
Aristocrats,
seen
yeah.
it, of course. I know
I've
what you're
got
talking
it on
about.
DVD. I saw.
I have it somewhere.
I saw at a special showing of it being. It was a.
I remember when
call
it came out. Yeah.
It was a promo showing where the audience was filled with stand-ups that I worked with and
That's
everything,
cool.
and we were.
My cousin Vinny,
Oh yeah,
my
how the hell
God.
is that not on here?
My cousin.
John Maddie.
Sorry for
12,
screaming,
nice,
but yes.
nice pull.
Holy shit.
Holy shit!
Oh my
yes.
gosh!
Which
like
one?
one
What
of
did
the
you- what did
My
you say?
Cousin Vinny,
Yeah,
one of the
My
greatest
Cousin
comedies
Vinny.
of all fucking time.
Very
Yes,
funny.
sir.
The two Utes.
The two Utes.
Fred Wynn
What
was
is
so
that, you
great.
Utes?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm sorry. Use.
Everything that guy just said is bullshit. Thanks.
I mean, again, we talked about Arsenic and Old Lace.
Yes.
Ah,
Arsenal
very
Lace was
funny.
on there.
Harvey. I'll tell you.
Harvey.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh,
No,
I
there was
like- I
no.
like it, I'll meet my friend here, Harvey.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was absolutely no comedies with.
No, Abbott Costello
Jimmy
versus
Stewart.
Frankenstein. For
Yeah,
God's
no
sake.
Abbott Costello.
Clueless was on the list.
Clueless was on the list. No
Yeah, for
Legally
some reason.
Blonde. No.
Legally Blonde, I think, is better than Clueless.
See, here's one
Oh.
that I will argue. Like, a lot of people consider, and I remember arguing about this in video stores
What?
too, because when I worked at video stores,
Not
a
a
lot of people
comedy.
considered Forrest Gump and Pulp Fiction comedies for
They're
some
not
dumb
comedies.
fucking reason.
No,
I
They're not.
never got it. I never
No.
understood it. It's like, what? Because you can't
Sorry.
classify the fucking movie. One's a drama and one's like an action. Put it there. That's fine. Yeah, I know Pulp Fiction isn't
But
exactly action,
Samuel L.
Thriller,
Jackson
whatever. Yeah.
did make that entire diner scene freaking hilarious.
yes, but did he kiss a scroll at the end?
Yes.
but no, there was
They
no
cut it out,
aliens
though.
in this.
He was a scroll.
That was
No,
it. Was
I just-
actually the scroll superpowers thingy in the briefcase. Now we know it's been confirmed that was what was in the briefcase.
Oh,
I just
that's what
never
it was.
understood the argument to make those two movies a comedy for some reason. I just never.
No, you're right. They're not.
Snakes and planes.
Bad News Badger
on-
says Blues Brothers
Snakes
ain't got no time. Got no time for no list. They on a mission from God. Yeah,
No Cheech and Chong movies.
that's what I said too. Is not up
on a
at least
plane.
up in smoke. Yeah,
Up in Smoke is hilarious.
yeah.
All right. I am the most egregious thing that has been left off from this is Soul Plane.
Oh, with that, I think it's about time to wrap up the wrap up. It's
I've
been
been
a
drinking a
fun
lot.
week. Uncle Buck was another one I seen that probably deserved to
Right.
be on there.
Bad
as
News
well.
Bears. Oh my
Bad
God.
News Bears. Yes.
the greatest.
Oh my gosh.
Holy shite.
That very
Yeah.
funny movie.
I love it.
All
League
right,
of-
guys.
League of Their Own was pretty funny too.
I'm surprised that
was.
wasn't on the
That's a
list,
good one,
Paul.
yeah.
That one
Major
fits
League.
right in there. Yeah.
Major League. Yeah, yeah.
Major
I'm
League was
beside
mentioned quite a few
myself with
times earlier.
Stripes, Animal House, Caddyshack.
I don't know about
Crazy.
Look Who's
Yeah.
Talking. Look Who's Talking hasn't exactly aged well.
Clue. All right. Now Darius says effing Clue in the chat, but
I
Clue's
can
not
see
on
a
there.
lot of people have a argument for that. But all right, we
I
want to
have
get
a
out of
special
here.
place in my heart for Clue.
People want to go.
Yeah, I
Paul,
gotta go.
why don't you plug what you got going on here? You going to be on the morning show tomorrow?
I'll be on the morning show tomorrow. I've got a new
Got any
spec.
videos coming up?
I'm working on a sketch feature interviewing an ex-Witcher writer and what criteria that they need to get in to be a showrunner on their next show. It's pretty fun. Even if I do say so myself. That's it.
Thank you for being here, Paul. I'm glad you made it. I'm
just
glad you
doing
got
stuff.
here for this list. And Toxie, Yeah, I want to thank you for being here as well. You're kind
Thank
of the inspiration for some of this. You kind of brought us the first few lists.
This was so
and
much
it's like,
fun
you know
with
what?
people like Paul that really know what they're talking about with these films.
Well, and it's fun to talk about
Yeah.
stuff like you get away from all the
I don't know any of that bullshit. Yeah,
all the other
Incredible.
bullshit. Yeah.
No, this was a great idea. Thanks, Toxic. This was, I am a student of comedy. I have read extensively how comedy kind of came about. This is one of my favorite topics, independent of the fact that I've spent my entire life being an idiot. So,
Well, I know what we
love
may have
comedies.
to tackle next week because this one has been getting a lot of buzz online.
Irate Specialist is in the chat is rather upset that we didn't do Schindler's List wasn't on this, and I think that in itself is funny.
I think that's absolutely
Dodgeball.
correct.
I like Dodgeball. Not everybody did.
But yeah, this one we might do this one
Oh, the
next week
Wedding
because this one's
Planner?
getting a lot of buzz right now online. Rolling Stone just put out a 50 greatest superhero movies of all time. And here's a preview of it.
If
I thought was
Handyman isn't on this list, screw it.
Well, here's my biggest problem with this list. Supposedly, there's people arguing over. I don't know if it's true or not. What happened? But initially, I guess take this with a grain of salt. I've seen some proof, but I can't verify all of it. That Justice League was number 1 on the list, and then it got bopped back down to 50. I don't know if that's true or not. But the part that I have a problem with on this list is Dark Knight Rises is above the Avengers. That tells me everything I need to know about this
You know
list
what?
already.
Let me tell you something. I think that's just a whole lot of whoring. Good luck working on it. I think what we did today, it was much more honest talking about
I agree.
comedy.
Right.
I feel cleansed. Doing the top superhero movies are just going to make me feel dirty again.
All right, I'll take that into consideration.
We need to do another comedy thing again.
Or something.
We need to find
along those
another
lines. I'll see
list.
what I can find. Six and
This
Toxie are
list
good at
is
finding
tough.
these lists.
Yeah.
I had another list on there too. It was the best worst movies of all time,
Mm-hmm.
like The Room and all that kind of stuff. So
Right.
maybe we'll.
They saved
Yeah, that was a
his
good one.
brain.
We need to start having fun with this stuff. You know,
I agree.
we just
Yeah.
and Tom, you've hit something here by doing these. I think it was your original idea to start going through some of these lists, and it's just I feel.
No, you
better.
brought me the list, and I'm like, yeah,
Paul
let's do
says
this.
he's
but
cleansed.
yeah.
I feel better.
Oh, I
think
feel
it was
way
rough.
better.
I don't even
And I
remember
feel
who
better.
it was. I want to give everybody credit. Six, you, everybody credit.
Oh, well, the first one we did with Six and Paul and you and me, that was phenomenal.
and
That was a
actually,
great
that
7-6
you know
on-
what? Actually, I give full credit to where credit's due. Robert Meyer Burnett. He was the impetus for this whole thing. Because remember, that was the whole thing I was
1984.
talking about. Yeah, the whole 1984
82.
being. Yeah.
Yeah, and I still say 1984, the best year for films because it had Breakin' and Breakin' 2 in the same year.
Electric Boogaloo.
No one else can claim that. That right there, done.
He's got a
It could
point.
be the best and worst year for movies because of those two films.
He's got a point.
Transcends, baby.
But
We gotta
Cox,
do
you
that
got
one.
anything to plug on your way out the door as we go here?
Go to Culture after this, and then we're gonna do Monday Meltdown on Comics Division's channel. Culture and I are planning a whole bunch of stuff behind the scenes, looking to do something after Friday Night Tights on Fridays, and just a lot of stuff going on. And we're trying to get some more positive stuff. Working with Tom to do some more comedy stuff. So we're gonna try and send Paul some more things to go.
Yeah.
What the hell is this? And then give us comedy.
Just
gold.
read
So,
it.
read it. Damn it!
Don't
Thank you,
ask,
Tom.
just read. You
I
don't
needed
need
this.
direction.
I really did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a nice way to decompress. Andy, anything you got coming up?
I will be Pop Culture Breakdown returns on Wednesday night on Doomcock's channel, where we will be reviewing The Rocketeer. And Thursday night, I will be on Ranker Steve's Manorama show, and we're going to be doing macho 80s movies.
Ooh, maybe I should try and hop in
Nice.
for that one.
Oh, yeah,
Because
definitely.
he's been trying to get me on, and we just got it's a scheduling thing, but
Oh, yeah. You'll like
maybe I'll
that
try
one.
to pop in for that one. Remind him and tell him to get a hold of me.
Got it.
Klobby, I know you always got stuff going on. What's up?
All throughout the week, let's say I'll be on my buddy J Man's channel tomorrow night. We're doing our usual Legion of Superheroes Chronicles, and then tomorrow night on my show, even though it's not technically August yet, kicks off the month of August on Monday Night Marx Comics Talk. Every August, I celebrate the birthday of and the month. It's whole month. Jack Kirby, the King of Comics. Every year, going to celebrate the great king and just do different shows all throughout the month, except for our Star Trek shows and our Clubhouse shows. So yeah, got a lot of Jack Kirby celebrations.
Dig up the last living Jack Kirby interview that was done for Prisoners of Gravity.
I will. I probably have read it before at some point. But
It's a video that Rick did an interview with Jack Kirby.
Oh, cool.
His last.
Cool, nice. He's the great king of comics, and I celebrate him every year, and going to be doing it again. Well, even out throughout the year, of course. But August is his month, so looking forward. Got all kind of things Kirby planned.
Thank God it's Jack Kirby takes over from Pride Month. That's all I have to say.
Jack Kirby month. I have pride in it, though.
Oh Lord. I'm starting to wonder if we shouldn't change the name of this show to Grumpy Old Men Talking About Movies They Love.
I'm okay with that.
A good name for a channel.
Because it is. It's kind of, we're all just like a couple of grumpy old men sitting around talking about shit.
Grumpy.
Yeah, but like you've got a couple of generations of people out there that have never heard of any of these movies.
I know, but we know them.
Yeah, and I think it's good. I mean, you could also we could also break down a movie. I mean, we could talk about. I mean, Ivan Reitman's Over. No one talked about Dave, which isn't a.
Oh, that's true. That's another.
Like I said, there wasn't very much Harold Ramis or Ivan Reitman.
No, I
on
think
that
there's
list
a hate
at all.
on those guys.
Yeah.
And we
Dave is one of my
Multiplicity was one of my. Well, I mean, even just an underrated show like Harold Ramis, like Multiplicity is one of his most overlooked films, and it's fucking hilarious. Tell me if you haven't seen it, if you don't love it.
How about the Night Shift when you talk about Keaton?
Oh, Night Shift. Oh God, yeah.
Night Shift was very funny.
Mr. Mom.
Yeah, Mr. Mom.
Oh,
well,
Mr.
Mr. Mom's still pretty beloved, but yeah, like I wouldn't say that one's under.
Johnny Dangerously.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go. Now you're talking about under.
Theme.
Yes.
Now,
Yes.
a comedy
My mother
that I
hit me
love that
once.
most people don't. UHF.
Once.
Al Yankovic.
I love UHF. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
love that
gosh,
one.
there's another underrated comedy.
Hey, Clobby.
Yes, sir.
Supplies.
You're so stupid.
Spatula City. Spatula City.
Spatula City.
You're so stupid.
This movie is a little bit slow now, but the Fearless Vampire Killers has got fantastic laughs in it.
Times now, yeah.
Although
God, we've
it
got
was
so many
directed
films to
by
do. Oh man.
Oh yeah, that
Gung
I'm
Ho.
still
Now
pissed
that's
off.
a Michael
No
Keaton
Animal
one.
House. No Caddyshack. Who
Yeah,
are these
how does
kids?
Animal House?
Who are these kids?
Yeah,
Night
Wayne's
Shift.
World at least.
Wayne's
Night-
World. How do you leave Wayne's World off?
Oh my goodness.
Get the net.
Let's you do a show about the omissions. It'll take like longer to do the other show that we did.
Right.
Anyways, I gotta go.
All right.
Bye,
Yeah.
Paul. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Head
Bye,
on over to
everyone.
Cultures.
Good night,
I'll
everybody.
probably join you guys
See
shortly.
all.
See you. Thank you, Paul. Thank
Have
you
fun
all
storming
there.
the castle.
Bye, Andy.
Hit the like
Bye,
button.
Clobby.
Night, guys.
Good night, everybody.
Where's my damn button?
Oh,
Excuse me, ma'am. No porn at the bar.
Oh, it's okay. I'm transgender.
Oh, I had